everybody, and welcome to the second match of the Start Tournament. I'm Lady Demi, and with me here today is Revit, who will be counting the runners down so we can get going. This will be an Azure best of 3 match, where they will have an hour to climb as far as they can, as fast as they can. Re-entries are allowed. Towers are seated, and they will be off in just a moment. The main thing to note with the Start Tournament, it's intended for as a starting Tamers and rival trainers. That's a really excellent name. State display appears to have a little bit of issue. We'll get it on that in just a moment.
Cropping issue there. They'll fix that. They should be off any moment now.
They have been counted down. One of the tutors. It says trainers in other places.
It's kind of an interchangeable thing.
It is kind of an interchangeable thing. They both tutor and train, so you know, one thing or another. Either way, one of the main things to note about this tournament is that because there's re-entry is like a single go run clear of all 40 floors of the Master Tower is not necessarily an achievable thing for a starting runner. It's technically possible, but so far removed from what the game expects you to be doing that it's often pretty difficult for a starting runner. And so we are allowing multiple entries. If they die, or if they want to use a wind crystal or any other way of getting out of the tower, they can try it again. So this match will be going on for the full hour per round. However, scoring will be the same.
Yeah, that is kind of the unique thing about this this tournament layout, is that generally in our tournaments we don't allow the re-entry. It's a single climb, one and done. But because we're featuring newer runners here, we're allowing the re-entry because, like Deme said earlier, the tower can be pretty brutal. There are several points in the tower where they expect you to die or leave, or go back and build up your equipment, level up your familiar. And some of those are actually fairly early, like as early as floor 6 or 7, even when some of the monsters start turning into water element.
Yeah.
And there's several of those as you progress up higher in the tower. This is by no means designed to be cleared in one go.
Right. It's a roguelike, and therefore it's expecting you to come back in, die, come back in, die, come back in, die. Getting a little better, but experiencing the random layouts of the tower. One thing, we do have a couple of tweaks to the game that we're using to make it more viewer and runner friendly. Namely, we had that tutorial, so we didn't have to listen to Kyun and can just go on fighting. And Shuzo is going up at level 1. That's scary.
Yeah, especially at level 1. Getting to level 2 is kind of one of the most important things you can do on these first couple floors.
Yeah, that 10 HP is the biggest boom. Looks like Shuzo's going in for an all-out sprint.
He's not building up any. Generally speaking, in tournament settings, runners will try to clear out the first 5 or so floors and build up a bit of an inventory, because these first floor, I mean, while they can still be dangerous, they're generally pretty easy to scour entirely. But here we have Shuzo on floor 4 already, still level 1, up against a Cyclone.
It's not a match that's gonna be winnable without pulling out resources. Cyclones are honestly pretty tough. For early enemies. They're one of the toughest enemies you can find on the first 5 floors. They do, at least, have the advantage of being super fireballable.
Yeah, that is kind of the benefit of a cyclone is that in a pinch you can pretty much guarantee that they're gonna die with having that fireball because it does have a guaranteed 5 charges in it. I think kind of the one that you want to watch out for the most,
Ooh,
especially at level 1, is the
water
flame.
crystal,
Oh
nice.
yeah, passing up a water crystal this early, that's strange. I wonder what his thought process is on that.
Yeah, I'm really confused. I'm really not sure what Shuzo's thinking here. Maybe he's do we have a pronoun there? Anyway, maybe Shuzo's mixing up which crystal is which, or maybe because of just like how much sprinting Shuzo has been doing to get to floor 4 this quickly and at such a low level, maybe they're thinking restoring Kyun isn't going to be worthwhile. That's still hard to buy, though.
Yeah, I can see that, especially if you're not planning on getting terribly high in the first climb. It is still nice to have in your back pocket though, because not only does it restore the MP, but it also restores full HP and any status ailments that may be afflicting your familiar.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And even if you want to win Crystal out, which the game does not necessarily make a sure thing, that'd be nice to bring in for next time.
Yeah, you can always put that in the storage at the house for when you are planning your final climb. It is important to remember though, and a lot of people do get confused with this, especially in casual play. The water crystal's description is a little misleading. A lot of people
doesn't
think
restore Ko's anything whatsoever.
exactly. It's only for
Only
the familiars that you have out. Eventually, they can find a second collar and have 2 monsters out at once, and the water crystal will affect both of the monsters, but it will not affect Ko at all.
Yeah, as that boy Troilus is saying in chat, having to really be careful about these early encounters due to not having leveled up earlier probably loses a bit of the speed advantage, loses definitely some possible inventory advantages. These towers are seeded. They will have the same inventory, the same items basically, when they're on the same tower entry. And that's...
as far as items go, looking at Razor's screen right now, he's missing a wind crystal, which would be nice in this style of a tournament. He's missing that leather shield, and then he's even got the medicinal. He's not missing a whole lot as far as items go, but he is missing out on that early nice experience. And maybe part of his game plan is that when you get up higher in the tower, if you can kill things like clowns or dreamins or even Garudas and pickets and things like that, they are worth a lot of experience.
Oh, a stream wand. That could be a pretty significant difference maker later on. While right now, Kyun is fire elemental, and so the stream wand will only be giving the wand bonus. There is a same type attack bonus for when you have an elemental weapon, like the stream wand or, say, a fire sword with a fire monster. And that's a biggie. That's a biggie.
Yeah, that is a big deal. Being able to find that Scarlet or Stream Wand with the proper element makes a huge, huge difference. Razor actually already equipped his Stream Wand. Thankfully it wasn't cursed, but his damage jumped up to 20 against trolls versus
just wands in and of themselves grant a bonus that's pretty handy. But having a C-Seed or that Blimp Egg means that when Kyun hits somewhere between 10 and 12 in level, we're probably going to see Razor switch Kyun over to water or elemental to get that bonus, and that's going to make climbing the tower a lot easier. Water strats are pretty good strats. That's certainly...
Shuzo does have the nice early lead, though. That is nice in case things do go awry for him. He will still technically have the lead on floor 7 here. So even if he does come back into the tower with a death, because he doesn't have any means of escaping the tower outside of death at the moment.
Yeah, that's a thing. Which, by the way, games mean in that respect. Game starts you off with a tower that it's going to expect you to leave right around where Shuzo is, but doesn't give you any guaranteed way of doing that except in a body bag.
And
Meanwhile,
that is one advantage that Razor has from clearing out these earlier floors. He did find a wind crystal, so he does have a means to get out of here alive with his items intact, which is a really, really nice thing.
Shuzo's in a bit of a spot. I think Shuzo is probably intending to die here, maybe? Definitely sacrifice Kyun kind of willy-nilly. No, not intending to die, but I'm not sure then why he decided to sacrifice Kyun to that bloom earlier. Might have just been a misplay that now he's paying for.
Yeah, and he did manage to get out of here. I mean, he can still move forward. And he does have another medicinal herb, so he's not quite on death's door yet, but he's not looking good at all.
No, looks like he has at least managed to get the two of them into a one-wide corridor where he doesn't have to be fighting both at once, but it's still not great. Oh, was that? Interesting. Not clear what happened with that resource scroll. Was it thrown away? No. Okay. Hey, Razor just needed to make space for it, because that's a nice thing to have. Oh,
ooh,
egg.
An egg, yeah, that'll be really nice. If he can manage to find his way out of here alive, or find a gleam or something.
Very carefully, nicely done. Gets out of that floor. That's still a significant danger, and particularly, oh my goodness. Well,
yeah, that's not good. He can't take a hit from the bloom. He's gonna have to try. I think he's gonna have to hope for a dodge here. And
and there we go.
That egg could have been so good for him. That could have been a U-boat or a clown.
There's a lot of really, good stuff that could have been. Unfortunately, Shuzo will just have Kyun. That Kyun has gained some levels, and Shuzo also did at least reach floor 8 first, so if the match were to... if the match were about to end abruptly, then Shuzo would take this round. But, and that's something that Razorflame will still have to work past, but is in a pretty good position to do so. This is a nice inventory.
Yes, Razor's actually sitting pretty right here. He's got a nice inventory. He's got some decent levels on his familiar. So even if things do go wrong, if he has to leave, having his Kyun be at level 5 right now is a nice advantage for his next entry. Yeah,
that is a good thing to have here, particularly when that's all you have, and certainly if you're trying to re-enter without anything at all. Yeah, Shuzo, misking the pita from mom, got caught up in the Mr. Isaac wants to see you about the guru's pot yada yada dialogue. But it is, I think, not too bad to take an early death here. Certainly yesterday's matchup, I took a lot of early deaths.
And sometimes that can really play out to your advantage, because once you enter the tower for the second time, it's different between each runners. If Razor were to leave now and enter again, he would have the same layout that Shuzo's on, but for the time being, their tower climbs are going to be entirely different.
Yeah, Shuzo can hope to get some really good luck here, and maybe that will bear the day. make the difference, basically. Nice. Not even with the leather shield equipped yet, which, by the way, if you want to know something about this game that the game does not tell you, leather shield boosts your dodge rate. That is why it is the preferred shield for most speedrunners on the grounds that, like, if you can avoid 100% of damage taken for an attack, isn't that great?
Yeah, and the thing with the shields are that the higher defense ones, is like the diamond and steel shield that Razor's wearing right now. It's even a steel +2, so it's even better than a diamond shield. But the high defensive shields are great for the early tower because the monsters aren't doing a ton of damage to begin with, and you don't have a ton of HP to play around with. So being able to negate those couple points of damage is really nice. But once you start getting to a certain point in the tower, roughly around floor 10 or so, when griffins and volcanoes and things start showing up, though that 3 points of damage that are being reduced from that diamond shield is pretty negligible. You're much better off having that leather shield and being able to just completely dodge the entire attack and take 0 instead of reducing 20 to 17.
Interesting choice of using the Holy Scroll in that way. One thing you can also do with it is throw it at a monster and have that monster become your ally, and then you can step into the beam of protection. Holy Scroll is very nice for some very specific things. Now, Razor's gonna be a little careful with Q, or rather, it would be good for Razor to be a little careful with Q. Technically, that restore scroll means that if that's not possible or just not preferable, well, at least there are options. Or water crystal. Shame after just using that pita fruit, but such is life. But no, looks like Razorflame stepping out of the protection to get Kyun out of the way. Probably a little too far out of the way.
I mean, I don't hate it. It did save his Kyun. He does have the restore scroll, so it wouldn't have been the end of the world if he did let Kyun die. He has the copper sword. He has the holy scroll invincibility. He could have taken a little bit of time and killed these off with just his sword. But opting to go down and down a space and just chuck Kyun across the room wasn't a bad play. It definitely worked out. As long as Kyun is in the same room with you, or within, I believe it's like 5 or 6 tiles of you, you can still use his mixed magic and command him like normal.
Yeah, it is a pretty handy detail. Still ended up using that water crystal, but that is okay. And we have that egg again. We'll see what it contains. Meanwhile, Shuzo only finding a copper shield probably does not feel great, but there is that holy bell, and that could come in real handy. It is always sad when you're when you're in a situation where, well, that could be worse. Or not who I think Razor was wanting to attack, but at least the situation isn't going to get massively worse.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, that U-boat could have been a problem if it had woken up, because you never know when that U-boat was going to wake up.
Right, like I said, not going to get massively worse.
Yeah,
because it would be super worse if... Now, this... Okay, given Razor's HP, I see why that was the choice made there. Still, probably not the ideal one. Those clowns can hit pretty hard, but they're also pretty squishy.
Did Shuzo check what that wand was before he went up?
Don't know. I'd have taken it regardless. Any wand is better than no wand. Which is the amount of wand Shuzo has currently.
Yeah, catching his finger on fire. Yeah, and I mean, I'm a little biased. I wouldn't equip something like a just a basic wood wand, but if it was something like a paralyzed or life wand or a stream garlet, definitely that would be a definite immediate equip.
I'm gonna say that on level 5, yeah, even a golf wand. It's not ideal, it's not what you want, but it's something. And when your options are something or nothing, then something is better than nothing, even if something's not great. Decurse scrolls aren't so uncommon that you can't eventually find one. And
Yeah,
sure, that will give you a status effect, but it will also let you fight things. Fighting things is good.
ooh, what is he doing here? Is he trying to? Oh, okay, he didn't. Okay, he's not. He doesn't want to backtrack. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Meanwhile,
Razor.
Chai talking some wind strats. That's a spooky idea.
No,
Wind strats are a little risky business. While there are some strong monsters, plenty of them that are water, there are also a lot of strong monsters that are fire, including this whole stretch of floors that Razor has made it on up to.
Yeah, and that actually puts Razor in the lead again, or now actually. Shuzo has been in the lead up until maybe a few minutes ago, and now that Stream Wand is coming into play even more because while it isn't paired up with Kuhn's genus, it is still giving a little bit of a bonus because it's water element versus fire.
Yeah, that's still a pretty nice business to have there, and these floors are some good floors for runners to explore.
I wonder if this must be a small floor. There's a lot of enemies coming all down this path that he's walking into.
Yeah, it seems that way. This is a rough situation to be in. That blaze ball, I would say a pretty good use of it. Even if it's not an ideal situation.
I'd like to see Razor start sharing damage with his Kuhn, using some AI-1 strats here to take out these trolls, because he just physically doesn't have enough HP on Ko to deal with it as a head-on encounter. He needs to get as much extra damage in as he possibly can.
Well, there's that golf wand. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that Shuzo is not going to be able to keep said golf wand. This is a rough spot to be in.
Yeah, and it's the same spot that Razor was in. He just doesn't. He has that weapon now that'll help him deal that a little bit extra damage. Oh no!
Oh no!
This is bad. He doesn't really have any way to deal. He's gonna have to use a blaze ball, and that's gonna be his only chance.
Oh, lucky miss. Unfortunately, I don't even think a blaze ball is gonna do that trick. That bloom is going to do too much damage.
He was still
if left alive. And that's definitely going to put So pretty far behind. Still not insurmountable. Anything can happen because Azure Dreams is such a wild and chaotic game. But it's not. It does not. Must not feel great.
And this is a pretty accurate representation of what a casual style playthrough would be. Like, go into the tower, go up a few floors, find a couple items, die, try again.
At least Kuhn is keeping Kuhn's levels here, and that makes it a little bit easier.
That is the key. If you're having troubles being able to climb the tower effectively, stacking as many levels on your familiar as you can is definitely the key. Because you can rely on that familiar to kind of just breeze through those easier floors when you don't have any items so you can easily look around for some, get a shield, get some kind of a sword or a wand. Maybe find a wind crystal so you can keep other items like fireballs and things like that to help you on your next climb.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, Shuzo's Kyun is only level 4 right now. It's, I mean, it's better than starting out as at level 1, but the level
Yeah,
4
starting out at
Kyun,
level 1 with basically nothing. And like not a whole lot in the familiar department either. I've seen casual playthroughs that try that, and that causes repeat floor 1 a lot.
and
Oh,
it's
nice.
kind of an interesting thing. We don't usually get to see floor 1 like this in tournament settings because re-entry isn't allowed, and generally we use the fast floor 1, so all the items are in a straight line next to the elevator. And we
And we're
don't
using
ever...
that here, but that only applies to the first entry.
Yes, that only applies to the tutorial floor where you're expected to get Kyun on your very first entry. And since we don't allow re-entry, generally speaking, we don't ever get to see these floors. So this is an interesting thing. It is still random in that it's not the same floor every time, but there is a finite amount of floor layouts you can get for floor 1. So
And
for things like any
it's
percent,
I'm curious about why that is the case. Like, why have a different way of handling floor 1 in particular to make it look cooler? Floor 1 does look really cool.
yeah, I'm not really sure why. As far as I'm aware, other than like floor 2, because that's the same. After the first entry, it's always the Gosh or Selfie floor. But the way that I understand it is that it's procedurally generated in quadrants after that. I'm not sure why floor 1 doesn't apply to those rules like everything else.
Very curious. Meanwhile, Razor putting a Mazar seed on Kyun to get Kyun up to level 11, that's where the diminishing returns in terms of mixture magic bonus from spell levels, like, more or less hits you so hard that there's very little point in gaining a level anymore. And so we're seeing Water Kyun strats. That's giving that damage from that Stream Wand.
39 damage, yeah, that's insane.
Beautiful.
And
There's
that is...
very little now that can threaten Razor on this floor in particular.
I'd like to see him not swap his to that copper sword anymore.
Yeah.
It was a good idea
Scarlet
before.
Wand.
Yes, that is exactly what Shuzo is looking for here.
Okay, we are back in gear. The Scarlet Wand being the fire wand that is equivalent to the Stream Wand. And so, running with a Fire Kyun, this means that Shuzo is now pretty safe for a while and can fight a lot more enemies on these early floors. With some level ups and a good shield, I would say that a Scarlet Wand can help you pretty much fight the whole way up.
Yeah, he shouldn't have too many problems. I mean, he doesn't have a shield, so he's gonna have to watch how often he fights. But he should be able to take things on one-on-one easily. Yeah, this is not looking good. I mean, he does... Razor does have a chance to wake up every time
There we go.
Damage. Yeah.
Oh, that's not so bad. Managed to get out of this one. But since how long you sleep for is random, it can be a scary thing.
Yeah, I know that...
A dreamin's only just a dreamin' until it isn't.
I know Chai is actually a little scared of dreamins in two-way hallways because of that. When you fall asleep, your familiar will come up to try to defend you, and a lot of times the dreamin will only attack your familiar. So you can be sleeping for 30 turns until your familiar just slowly dies, and especially having a water Kyun at this point, the Kyun is not going to do very much damage to that dreamin, especially if he's a lower level. So your Kyun is likely to die. It's not a guaranteed thing by any means, but your Kyun can end up taking quite a bit of damage. and your chances of waking up are very slim.
Yeah, it can be a bad situation, but luckily managed to get out of this one. Looks like so far Shuzo hasn't had a whole lot of luck in terms of inventory. Just that Scarlet Wand, just that Mahel Seed.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him check those wands, because he still does ultimately want to find a stream wand for later. I presume that he's
Assuming
going to want
that
to go
he's comfortable with a water strap. He might not be.
Presumably he will at some point. I'm fairly certain that he's aware of water strats. I guess the thing is he doesn't really have a reliable way to go water at this point.
That is also
egg.
a point, yeah.
Oh, this is a kind of a nasty room on Razor's side here.
Yeah, this could be unpleasant.
He should be able to kill this troll in 2 hits. Yeah, you can kill both these trolls in 2 hits. As long as that Garuda doesn't wake up too soon, he should be fine here. And that's going to be a lot of experience. Or he's just going to walk away. That's cool, too.
That's fair, I think, given a lot of enemies in that room, Cume taking some hits. It's while fire charges can handle the Garudas pretty easily, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are unlimited. So that's a thing, and I'm pretty sure they both used a fair number of these. Oh, Holy Scroll, that will help a good deal.
Ooh, and a fire crystal. I know a lot of people hate on fire crystal because it does have it is a little buggy sometimes. The monster salamander that it summons can sometimes be a little glitchy and not hit things if they're standing on items. And there is a thing that if the salamander levels up, it can soft lock the game. But
there's some dangers, but it can be helpful in the right circumstances.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the fire.
In case Razor ever wants to switch back to fire, say in the 20s, when we start seeing a lot of other like wind monsters. Scarlet Wand, not bad.
Yeah, I think though that I mean it is a good point once he hits like the 24, 25 when he starts running into stealths and blocks and things. It is probably worthwhile if he's able to switch back to fire, but
if he's able, and that is the operative words there. He does have that balloon egg. Balloons, they're hot air balloons. They're fire monsters, so that fusion could happen. But on the whole, I would say, like, if he finds a convenient way of doing it, and he doesn't find anything better for his inventory space, but now I'm stacking it.
And Shuzo putting on a cursed mirror shield. Not the end of the world. Mirror shield is still really, really nice. But his Kyun was taking a beating there because he's
especially nice in casual play, where you can really take advantage of the fact that it is rust-proof. And so you can stack as many blue sands on it as you want, and it will still reflect magic, and that's pretty nice. And certainly, it'll be nice knowing maybe you won't get sniped by a griffin. No one likes getting sniped by a griffin.
Yeah, in casual play, I'm almost inclined to say that Mirror Shield is my favorite, just because you can, like you said, you can pretty confidently rely on it blocking low downs, pillars, low binds, breath, all those things that you really don't want to get hit with. The leather shield is nice, but in casual, being able to just walk in front of a block with basically no fear is really, really nice.
It's pretty nice, or at least significantly less fear. No fear.
No fear. No fear. Well,
it's only a chance to reflect.
It's I think it's like a 75% chance to reflect though, so it is pretty. The odds are pretty high in your favor.
Mm-hmm. That is true, and it certainly is a benefit. Oh, Barong. If
Ooh, we're gonna
Razor
see.
wants to, might wait and see if that Barong wakes up and play the slots with it. Nope, doesn't work if
Oh.
they're asleep. Sorry, Razor.
Oh, and there's, I think it's a herb on the other side.
That is a sleepy Barong.
It is, and the barong enemies have a higher chance of waking up when you're in a room with them and when you're standing next to them. So that barong was, he said that was a really sleepy barong. That's unusual.
That is not the way Razor wanted that moment to go.
Yeah, I think he intended to hold the sword and throw it back. A bit of a misinput there.
Yeah, unfortunately won't get to check that out, though most spell balls, when spat out by a Barong, less than ideal because they only have one spell charge. But if that's an acid rain, that would have, only one spell charge anyway. So, like, yay? Oh, there we see that getting tossed. Gotta say, that could be nice. That could be something very useful. Spell charge depends on the Barong's MP. That's interesting. Unfortunately, the water spell is not very useful here.
It's not ideal, but it does have its uses, especially higher up in the tower against things like maximums, killers, dragons, tyrants, things like that. But we're quite a ways off from there. And it does have 3 charges in it though, so that's not
Nice.
bad.
Yeah. Makes sense, I suppose, given that the Barong still had a couple of uses of spitting things up left. Do we have a name for that ability? I feel like it must have a name, but I don't remember what it is. Oh, and that's the end of the fireball. That's a little unfortunate on Ransome's side. Going to make some later floors a lot harder because the downside of water strats is usually mitigated somewhat by spell balls. Excuse me.
And that is the power of matched wand with Genus. Even though that Garuda that Razor just fought was wind, I mean, he did have height advantage as well, but he was still doing like 33 damage or so to it.
Mm-hmm.
So while the fireball wasn't exactly needed, he did take roughly 10-11 damage, something like that. And the real kicker with the Garuda though is that they're fantastic to have as familiars on your side because they have a lovely ability called Abduct. That is literally just a get out of jail free card. They can pick you up and put you into a random tile in a room for very, very little MP cost. But as a wild enemy, they can also steal your familiar, and with Razor having a water Cune at this point, that would almost be a guaranteed death for Cune at this point. So luckily he didn't get stolen. Okay, I like this.
This is I like it. It's an unusual one, but it does at least make dealing with this picket a little bit faster. And I know that's one of the major headaches of fighting pickets is, oh yeah, they can take a while, especially if you've got a water Cune.
Yeah, they're pretty tanky as far as HP goes. They don't have a lot of defenses, but they do take up a good bit of time because they have a lot of HP. They get 2 attacks per turn, and then being off element just makes it that much worse. But I like the use of the Mahel on Cune there. It's not something that we really see all that often. Usually, runners will use the Mahel on themselves to escape some kind of danger or get to an elevator quickly in a bad situation. But I do like the the use of it, giving it to a familiar to take something out quickly. Perhaps not the ideal use for it, but use nonetheless. It doesn't get seen all that often.
Now we can tell that the Oline that's in the doorway is a shapeshifted Mana Weaver, and therefore what Razorflame is best off doing is picking it up by hand. Rather than... I'm not sure that was necessary. Also, because that Mana Weaver isn't in the room. It's in the doorway. Doorways are not rooms. This is very important.
Oh, I think he might have thought that he couldn't be attacked if he had the Holy Bell there. Unfortunately, the Holy Bell just makes monsters leave the room. If they're sitting in the doorway like that and you walk up, they can still attack you inside the room. We've seen that with runners in previous tournaments actually get sniped and killed because of that.
Yeah, that's a rough one to walk into. Meanwhile, Shuzo is getting out of that slump Shuzo was in earlier. We are managing to put on some speed and get some floors added to the highest floor count there.
And we are getting to the point now that if, for whatever reason, Razor does want to leave, he's going to want to do it soon. He's only got 20 minutes to make his another climb here, so he's got to pretty quickly make a decision whether he's going to make this his one-and-done climb, or if he's going to try and regroup himself and start over. I think he's got a pretty good inventory and level going on. I don't see why he would leave, but
unless
for whatever
some
reason,
disastrous situation descended upon Razor, that would be about the one thing. But yeah, if I were Razor and my inventory started getting full here, I'd probably toss the Wind Crystal. Meanwhile, Shuzo having a bit of a rough start to that floor, managing to barely make it up there with Kyun intact, but still managing it in the end. Ooh, Hazak Seed, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, the Hazak Seed. That is kind of another interesting thing. There are the Hazak Seed, and I think it's a Shomaru Seed. Increases attack and defense permanently.
In casual playthroughs, you pretty much always want to stick them onto your familiar of choice.
Exactly, yeah, and that's an interesting thing about this style of tournament is that because we allow re-entry, that is a probably the way to go, giving it to your familiar there, because that will be permanent when you re-enter. If you give it to Ko, it'll last as long as you're in the tower, but as soon as you leave and re-enter, he goes back to level 1, all of his stats get reset. So in a standard tournament, the Hazaks, those seeds would be ideal on Ko, just for that extra damage with the mixed magic and everything to the direct hits and things like that. But being able
But here it's a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no. That's not what Shuzo wanted to be doing here.
Oh, and the mirror shield! Oh, I love when that happens.
It's great. It is great. Now Shuzo's going to need to think carefully about how to proceed and how to use what they have successfully, because this could otherwise... there we go.
He's really hurt, though. He can't really deal with anything else.
Such as that.
Yeah, he does have the Olim. He can try and split some damage with Kyun here. He should be able to kill this in 2 hits.
Yeah, this
behind, and then
some
walk.
nice AI1.
He might be able to.
Yeah, I think so, but
Kyun is dead here.
Oh, there we go. That's unfortunate.
Now
Shuzo just lost a big source of damage. I think probably would have been better off attacking after the second or third Or the AI one hit. If I were Shuzo, I think I'd hatch that vermilion egg. Whoa! Truth glasses! Check if the egg is and hatch it. That is, I think, my best choice. My preferred option. Ooh, this could be bad.
Do we know?
Unfortunately.
Oh no!
Oh,
he
no.
wasn't lined up. Oh no, that's bad. That's really bad.
That I think could be GG. Could be the end of this run, and probably any chance Shuzo might have here. I don't think.
Something coming up behind him the way he's trying to go.
Pickup?
Yeah, I think a pickup, maybe a Mahel seed and then trying to pick up. Okay, that pillar's nice if it bounces.
Oh, nice. Okay. Mirror Shield, worth its weight here.
Yeah, definitely. The Mirror Shield is paying off dividends for Shuzo right now.
Well, Shuzo?
I think he has to go for the lift here. I don't think he has any other option outside of a dodge.
Yeah, that's no.
Oh, that's rough.
That's rough.
That's a new max floor for Shuzo though, floor 13.
That is true.
45 minutes. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And his Kyun will keep all of the levels that he had, so he could still get past floor 13. Winning this match though is looking like it's a little out of reach for Shuzo at this point, but anything is possible.
Unfortunate. It is technically possible, but this fourth tower would have to be a pretty astonishing tower. No, we haven't seen too many lifts this round. I'm not sure the runners feel confident enough to go for that. On the grounds that, like, it's giving a free hit, basically, to any if it manages to fail, and that's not something every runner necessarily wants.
Ooh, that go-up trap is really nice, though, on Razor.
Yeah, that'll be very handy. Indeed, as a way out of this trap room. Also...
Is there 2 stealths in this
There
room?
might be 2 stealths, but I don't know what one of them is doing.
I think
we can see it in the animations.
Yeah, it looks like
I realized that one of them was probably doing... Oh no!
What a trap room. Okay, so...
I would've... Yeah, okay, there we go.
Does he know that he can activate the trap manually? Because that would be ideal.
That would be ideal here, really. That would be ideal if it can be done.
Using a Mahel here, lifting Kyun, he'd still take a hit from the Viper, but only be 1.
Yeah, that would be pretty manageable.
His Kyun's gonna walk into it. Oh. That is something that I even...
Kyun does.
Yeah, that is something that I struggle with sometimes. You have to remember that when you use an item, no matter what direction Ko is facing to begin with, if you use it to eat it like a seed or an herb, Ko will always face the screen, which will
and that will
change...
cause Kyun
yes,
to move
you have
to behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
Razor, Kyun's not going to move with you. Razor?
Okay. Oh!
Oh no! Did the balloon try going up?
No, I think it had to do with him using the Mahel seed. I've encountered this once before. Because your familiar doesn't act on certain turns. And I think it has something to do with the egg bomb being within the Mahel. If you throw it like your second turn, when the
Razors, that's not a great idea.
Yeah, Wooga knows what I'm talking about, the Mahel egg.
And there goes Kyun again.
I think... Oh, he could have went for... I would have like to see him go for 2 lifts on the Viper. I'm guessing he doesn't know you can manually activate traps.
Probably not. That's very rough.
It is, what floor was that, 24?
Yep, it is there in the other half of the second line, basically. So 24, and that 24 more or less just has to keep hold of for the next 12 minutes. That's pretty viable. That's pretty likely to happen. But it's not unimaginable. It's a little unimaginable.
Yeah, with some really good elevator luck and doing
really
some
good elevator luck
and some any percent strats, it is possible. It's still unlikely being able to climb that fast, but it is possible. And unfortunately, Hugo, if to win this this round, we'll have to get to floor 25. The way we rule this, whoever got to the floor first wins. So
because we still want you going fast. This is a race.
So it looks
Fighting
like Razor
Bosch here.
Yeah, and I don't blame Razor for kind of calling it. With only 10 minutes there, he's not going to be able to get back to floor 24.
Yeah, it's pretty unlikely. Shuzo managing to win the Gosh fight and therefore getting Medicinal Herb? Medicinal Herb. Very good. Was not sure. It's been a while since I've actually done a Gosh fight.
And chat giving Chai a little bit of trouble. Razor is matched up with Chai in this tournament as his coach, and part of the fun of it is that getting the coaches involved is that we're having a little bit of a friendly rivalry between all of the coaches. So it's Chai's turn to be thrown under the bus. Shuzo is matched with Kluder, I believe.
That is the case. But yes, they'll learn from their own mistakes, probably. Something, lions throw their children off a cliff, something. Meanwhile, this would be a good time for an AI and plan from Shuzo, because Kyun is much tougher than everything else around him for the next few minutes.
Yeah, Kyun can probably free roam for the next 2 or so floors. Once he starts getting into the water floors, he might have a little bit of trouble. Being level 8 though, he should be able to carry his own for a little while, kill a couple blooms and Manivas or something like that, but that's roughly when he's gonna start having some trouble. And is this another flame he encountered, perhaps?
I think it's very likely. I would probably set him to AI1 and back up. Medicinal, that's sensible. Luckily, even when this hour is up, this match isn't over for Shuzo because Azure Dreams is a cruel and fickle game. We are going best of 3. This is certainly not an irreversible state of affairs, and it'll be a fun one to see what happens in round 2. When that ends up being the case.
Yeah, and if that's not enough for you, there is the potential for the round 3 decider, or something that runners often like to do if there is a 2-0 win. Sometimes they'll play a friendly third, so there is a chance that we'll see 3 matches today regardless of the outcome of the next match.
That'll be fun. Friendly thirds are all ways. Runners can play a little bit fast and loose, and you sometimes see them become challenge runs of a sort.
Yeah, a lot of
just
times.
Because be free.
A lot of times, in friendly thirds, runners will opt to run solo and not bring Kuhn in at all, which completely changes the game dynamic. You're not really able to fight anything past like floor 5 or so, and even then it's kind of a struggle depending on what you find. So a lot of times you're going to be evading monsters as often as you can and heading straight for the elevator while trying to pick up whatever items are along the way and make the best of it. It's an interesting way of playing the game.
Fun, fast, and loose. It's certainly where you find some of the record strats for any percent, but that's not the same as being, reliable in any way, and that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's more unfortunate for Shuzo himself. Kuhn should be more than fine roaming around here, as long as he's set to be able to attack things that walk into him. He's fine.
That's true enough. The real hope is for Shuzo is not getting sandwiched or caught in a bad situation. And Kuhn will be back once that elevator gets hit.
That kind of worked out to his favor a little bit as well. Kuhn did manage to kill 2 things there, get a little bit of free experience, and he didn't run into any monsters with Ko, so he pretty much just ran directly to the elevator and got a little bit of free experience along the way, so it wasn't terrible.
No, certainly not. Inventory this run is a mixed bag. We're seeing a lot of spell balls, some of them very good, but we haven't seen a shield yet, and that copper sword is not much.
Yeah, the spell balls are on the weaker side. I mean, Acid Rain is really good, but Ice Rock can be good, but it's also really slow because enemies sit there and attack it until it dies. Poison is good in certain situations. It really requires you to have a lot of space to get the benefit out of it. He has tools, but they're not the tools that he wants, essentially.
No, luckily managed to evade that Manoweaver. They have a pretty small aggro range relative to other monsters, so it's pretty easy to sometimes walk away from them, and they just chill with that.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, now it has forgotten he exists.
Yeah, the Manivas have a shorter aggro range, and I think it's because they have the ability to transform into items and monsters later in the tower. It has something to do with them not aggroing onto you when they're transformed into a coin or something. Which it makes them essentially dodgeable. If you get into a corner here, like this corner would work. Actually, I don't think it would. I think it needs to be a 2-tile corner, but you can dodge them fairly reliably with the right floor layout, or walking in and out of rooms even if they're far enough away.
Yeah, this one doesn't look like we'll be able to quite get the space it needs, but it's not. Well, okay. With the sort of time frame involved, it's pretty it is in and of itself unfortunate. Anytime that Shuzo makes what was already an unlikely shot less and less likely. And I think at this point,
we could probably
at this point
match.
It's pretty much a done deal.
I am interested to see if he can find the elevator on this floor, though. He has explored a pretty good bit of it and used a lot of his resources trying to do so. And it's not even in this room. Oh man.
Oof, that's rough. Man, that ice wall is hanging on there pretty tight. Wait. 1 minute left. Will Shuzo escape this floor is now the new question. And there's another room without the elevator. That's sure a thing.
Yeah, he's pretty much explored this entire floor at this point. It is a really bad feeling when you're trying to just go fast and you end up exploring the entire another room with no elevator. There we go. He finally found it. Going
At
up to floor
last.
7.
At the very least, got out of floor 6. Let's put this to bed and wake up the next match. They will be switching over to setup. We will eventually kind of heed Nico's request and get up. And by request, I mean me to the chest. Hopefully the chest. Me to something.
Oh no, the septic special! This would be the perfect way to end this scene. I'm sorry, septic.
Cool seed.
Oh, and Kuhn saved him.
Nicely done. And now we'll get them set up for round 2.
Alright, we are looking for seed 8723.
Mm-hmm. For those of you wondering what we use to like how we judge the seed based on string, and why that string of numbers is the one we're looking for, it is because the first set of numbers in the seed code is usually shared in a batch, not as likely to be individual as the last couple of ones, and so that is what we use to check the seed. You know, I didn't check and see what they ended up naming Co last time in any particular detail. It is nice to be able to see that process while also not dealing with, Ko's entire life story, which is normally what one gets playing the start of the game over again. And, Ko's life story isn't even very long.
No,
It's 15.
and it's not very...
He hasn't really done a whole lot himself. His dad's done these things, but it's not like we're seeing his dad's life story. We're seeing his dad's death story.
And it's even then, it's still not much plot. There really isn't much plot in this game. It's pretty much the same
Your dad
gameplay
died,
loop.
now you are a man. That's the plot.
He's what, like 16 or something like that?
15, I think, specifically. Technically, you are a man and you can now make the lag. Okay. Oh, right, from Shuzo's streaming handle. That makes more sense than just, sending up the concept of computers running slowly.
Alright, the runners are being counted down. They should be off any second now.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what this match has in store for us. Things not being randomized sadly does take away the advantage of being able to chat about what one might want. But then again, Azure Dreams is random enough, and that's hard enough without having to factor in, do you know how to use literally anything? And that's why we're not seeing more of the random toolkit style here.
Yeah, we only have the quality of life stuff. We skip Ko's story, we skip the tutorial floor entirely, just because it never changes. You get the same 5 items in the same spot. The only difference is when the Palumpa shows up. When you enter, it's sleeping. It can wake up at different times, so it can be in slightly different areas. And you're in no danger from the Palumpa, so I didn't see a reason to make the runners go through that every time they start a seed. So we put that in as well this time around. And that's pretty much all that we've done. Everything else is straight vanilla.
Besides the towers being seeded consistently, which is like, for what sort of game Azure Dreams is, pretty impressive, all told. Well, because Azure Dreams basically moved down its original random number generator pretty much every frame. So, like, that seemed a pretty hard obstacle, but programmer managed to pull that off, and now we get to enjoy seeded tower runs as well as all the weirdness and quality of life stuff. And if you want to check that out, be sure to check out the Azure Dreams Discord, and we are off!
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason that we do the best of 3. It's kind of a tradition. Originally, when we first started doing races, we didn't have the randomizer at all, so we were playing in different towers. And we've seen how different the tower can be between different entries. Sometimes somebody would get really, really lucky and find a stream wand or a scarlet wand on floor 2, and just have a really, really good time.
And someone find a monster trap or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So it was more in the just in trying to be as fair as they could at the time. Now that we have the randomizer, it's more just for fun thing, you know. Everybody likes
traditional. It's for fun.
Dreams.
It does equalize things, and this is a neat game to get to see more of.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a unique little gem in the PlayStation's library. I call it a cult classic, but it's a very small cult.
Yeah. It seems
We're
like everybody.
Cult.
It seems like everybody that's played this game thought that they were the only one that ever played. But we do have a Discord that has like 600 people in it at this point. I think that my count might be wrong. I haven't checked in a while. But yeah, pretty much every single one of them thought they were the only one that ever played this game. And I know I'm guilty of it too. I discovered that they had a second tower option with a randomizer, and I joined looking for it. And I was just amazed at how many people were there. Because I had tried finding in my everyday life people that had played the game outside of like my dad and my brother, and nobody had ever heard of the game before. So being able to find a lot of people that enjoyed the game as much as I did was really, really nice.
I occasionally try and drag people into things, and for a little while there attempted to do like a screenshot LP on a forum I was on of this, and that ended up more or less collapsing down into my scheduling conflict. But it is super exciting to have a thriving community for this game, and our Discord is good for more than just speedrunners. If you're just curious, if you want to play casually, if you played the Game Boy Color version and you're wondering if anyone else in the history of humanity ever played that, we have an area of the community for that, and so there is a lot available to you.
Yeah, and the randomizer does have a lot of options in it as well. There's different challenge modes like endurance and survival and things like that. Different pre-made settings. You can also go back and generate seeds from previous tournaments if it was something that you thought was fun. There's a lot of options you can play around with there. Definitely worth checking out if that's something you're interested in.
Oof, Kuhn getting wailed on. Gonna have to be a little bit cautious. Luckily, that salamander is now off on its own adventures, but did come in handy, and the salamander really is the best it can be on these early floors, because its stats do not scale in any way.
Yeah, you can pretty much kill an entire monster den with just a fire crystal on these early floors. Later on, you can kill things like dragons and golems, but man, it takes some time, and you're really only gonna barely kill one. But I do maintain that fire crystals are the hype crystal, so.
I'd say that for me, water crystals are unquestionably the hype crystals, but that's not a slight against fire crystals. I find them temperamental, maybe. I want to believe in them.
Yeah, that is fair. I mean, they do have their own quirks about them that make them less useful in certain situations for sure, but more often than not, they get me out of a bad spot, so they got a special place in my heart.
Razor managed to find a paralyzed wand that I don't think Shuzo located.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that if I found it early in the tower, like Razor, I would pretty much immediately equip that. It doesn't give you an elemental.
You don't. Good.
Yeah. You don't get the elemental bonus from it, but it is a wand, so you get the mixed magic buff from it, and it does have a chance to paralyze. I think it's a 1 in 8 or 1 in 16 chance to paralyze things. Which is basically a free kill if it goes off. So that's a win in my book.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice to have when it works. It's certainly one of the, let's call them second tier wands.
Yeah, and that would kind of go along with the life wand. I think they're kind of in the same category. I kind of prefer the paralyzed to the life wand generally, but I know a lot of people also feel the other way around. There isn't really a wrong answer there. They're kind of equal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say that they're both in that same sort of second tier. And here, I'd say Scarlet and Stream are first tier, and then you've got Paralyze and Life.
And I think Golf would even go in the second tier.
Yeah, maybe so. Golf does have its places. And then I think it's just like all the other ones get to go sit in the heap.
Pretty much, yeah. Especially the Seal one. I think the Seal one has like a 1 in 64 chance or some really incredibly low chance.
Isn't useful most of the time anyway. It's sad.
It's really only useful against a handful of things that have direct spells anyway. And it has such a low chance of going off that it's negligible.
It's a wooden wand and a fancy hat.
Yeah. And I mean, depending on what your gear is, sometimes you might even want that griffin to do pillar because you have a mirror shield on, and then you take it away and you just guaranteed your death. It's a really it's probably my least. I'd rather have a wooden wand than a seal wand.
What about money wands? Well, okay, I say that jokingly. Money wands are also wooden wands with different text.
Yeah, and I mean, Money Wand is kind of meh in my opinion. Even in like a casual play, being
It's
able to
not
get
very
that,
exciting.
yeah, getting that one extra coin drop every once in a while is not really worth not having an elemental wand or paralyzed wand in my opinion. But if it's all you got, I mean, it's better than using your finger or a sword.
Right. Cost frames to make money.
And so far, we're not looking too bad inventory-wise. We got an Oleem, an egg on Shuzo's side here that Razor has the potential to find if he explores a little bit. Tumna Fruit is nice, the Holy Scroll.
Tumna Fruit has some fun edge cases. It has the advantage of kind of just removing one enemy from whatever situation you're in, but you can also use it to get it basically invulnerability, provided you have Cune or another liftable monster. Ooh, there goes Cune.
Yeah, and at this point, Shuzo does have a decent inventory, but without having Cune with him and the way that he has shown his playstyle to be, he's probably not going to make it too much further. He's really going to want to find a Wind Crystal, or he does have the Oleem. If he can get a free moment, he can hatch one of those eggs and feed it the Oleem fruit to leave.
Yeah, probably I'd hatch the Palimpa egg. It's got a higher heat value already, and also you know what it is. Whereas that other egg could be something that could be more useful if you kept it.
Yeah, and Shuzo did a wonderful job there, keeping that U-boat underneath the bloom so it wouldn't be able to come out of the ground and get a free hit on him.
Which they love.
Yeah, they really do. You had a bit of trouble with U-boats yesterday, if I remember
Yes.
correctly. They are mean.
They're mean. Oh, this is not a great room
that
to have walked all the way into.
Yeah, that is not the decision that he wanted to make there.
I'd probably have checked what that scroll was. If it was a holy scroll, could have been the thing.
Yeah, with it being right next to him, he could have turned to look at it and picked it up and checked it and put it in his bag, having open space. If it was a holy or malicious scroll, he could have immediately chucked it at that U-boat and
bought himself some time and not been in this situation.
Yeah, now that clown did give him that level up, which is nice, but now he's going to take that. The benefit here is that eventually that U-boat is going to go under, yeah, and that gave him one extra space of movement. He can make one misstep here without being punished for it. But not going to matter, because he finds an elevator to floor 9. That's a 3-floor lead currently for Shuzo. That's looking pretty good for him. Though this is exactly what happened in the first match. He had a nice lead early on, and then he just suffered a string of deaths for a while, and Razor took over, took a pretty commanding lead after a while. So hopefully that doesn't happen again to Shuzo now. That can be kind of a rough spiral to get out of.
I'd have gone for the pickup on that dream and keeping it alive and around when you're alone, and also, well, this is happening to you. Yeah, this is less than ideal.
Yeah, normally Dreamins aren't too much of a problem, but when there's 2 of them and then there's 2 other stronger enemies around, the chance of you being put to sleep and just murdered is pretty high.
I feel like even when there's one other enemy around, suddenly a Dreamin becomes very scary.
Yeah, they're just...
It is a force multiplier monster, is what I would call it.
Yeah, there is kind of a meme in the community that it's just a Dreamin. Generally, we're not really scared of Dreamin, even if they put us to sleep. They don't really do a whole lot of damage, but as soon as they're paired up with something else, a troll, a clown, a volcano, a griffin, a kraken, anything, they become a little bit more than just a Dreamin. They're not scary in their own right, and that's kind of a theme that a lot of wind monsters kind of carry.
this Shuzo, I think, probably feels pretty relieved at this point. I certainly would. Found that wind crystal, is able to get on, able to escape, and I'd probably do that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, it is tempting to try and hatch the purple egg on his side, because it could be a clown or a U-boat, which could make this
I'm
climb.
pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's the balloon egg that Razor just found and looked at, but also,
yeah, it
no,
would be a
asleep.
Oh
Less than ideal.
no, he's getting chained, no!
No,
Oh, this
death
is,
by
yeah.
1,000 cuts.
Yeah, I think with that, we
Shuzo?
found that wind crystal, I really think he should leave now and just recoup, get his Qun back. He has that fireball that he can rely on. He can find out what that egg is. Though I don't hate that he went up to floor 12.
Yeah, it's not a time difference, but also, Shuzo, please stop trying to get away with quite so much murder. You found a wind crystal. You're probably better off using it.
Oh, if he gets put to sleep here. Every misstep is very, very dangerous here.
Then really, he hasn't gained anything except the floor count.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. If you're going to leave, you really want it to count for something. Now, granted, like Deme said, you're still going to have your familiar levels, which is, you kind of your
Shuzo
biggest
hasn't
benefit.
been getting Qun levels for a long time.
Yeah, his Qun's probably level 4 or 5 at this point, which isn't bad, but the longer he stays in here gaining experience without getting it on Qun, the more that's going to hurt him later on if he does end up leaving. Especially if he ends up dying instead of wind crystalling out, then he's not going to have anything to help him with outside of Qun.
One thing that might be worth considering for Shuzo, I think I would have, on one of those one-wide hallways, maybe tried picking up the Dreamin', chucking it at the Kraken to make the Kraken turn around.
I think the Kraken is
still aggro, and that probably wouldn't work, but it's at least a thought.
Oh, and there's that blue collar. That would have been so nice if I probably would have just picked it up and wind crystalled out, to be honest.
Yeah, there is nothing to do here but wind crystal out.
He can take one hit from. Yeah, he's really pushing it.
One wrong step here.
Razor's not looking too bad though. Doesn't have a whole lot of inventory, but his inventory is pretty solid for what he does have. And his Qun's level 6 and still alive, so
that's a benefit that's going to be telling really more and more.
Yeah, and we can see...
paralyze!
We can see, I mean, Shuzo is still in the lead on floor 13 here, but not having Qun is having the opposite effect that it might otherwise have. For Shuzo here, he's going a lot slower, not being able to fight things. And that's giving Razor that much more time to catch up, so even if he does leave, it's not going to count for as much as it would have if he would have left earlier, perhaps, and got Qun back.
Yeah, this is... Shuzo?
Yeah,
wind crystal, Shuzo.
Yeah, I don't think there's much other option here. You're going to want to crystal out. It looks like he's thinking about it. Yeah, that's the play, Shuzo. It hurts, I know, but it's for the better.
It's still very early in this match. Anything can happen. Then sky is the limit and all that. Ooh, water crystal, nice.
Yeah, and with that water crystal, Shuzo didn't have the ability to go there. He had a monster train on him. I don't think he had Qun at this point anyway, so it wouldn't have helped him currently, but that is something he could have held on to or brought in with him next time.
Yeah. Looks like Razor's either is wanting to get some more EXP on this floor, and that's a reasonable thing to want here.
Yeah, that it is one of the kind of the tournament strategies, if you want to call it that. Floor 10 is a pretty good place to get up to level 10 or so, because they have the monster experience jumps up pretty significantly, even on the weaker things like the Dreamins, compared to what we were fighting before. And it also doesn't have the really scary Krakens to worry about.
Yeah,
So,
that's really nice.
yeah,
And
this is a pretty
floor
good place
10
to
in
do.
particular doesn't even have griffins, which are going to be pretty threatening.
Yeah, I think the worst thing you can find on these floors is the volcano. Or maybe the trolls. I mean, the trolls can be pretty annoying because they have that range hit. But if you kind of calculate it out a little bit, they usually won't get a free hit on you, so you can kind of deal with them, and they are a lot weaker than the volcano. So Shuzo having to do a bit of inventory management. He can't go into the tower with more than 5 items.
I'd probably keep at least one of the eggs over the medicinal herb.
Yeah,
over the pita fruit, maybe also over the medicinal herb.
Yeah, I would definitely keep an egg over the pita for sure. The medicinal, everything else I kind of agree with. The copper sword, the steel shield. Actually, maybe not even a copper sword. With this Kyun being leveled up, he doesn't really need the sword. He can always find a wand or something. Definitely
At least
bring
he
in the
can
shield.
hope to find a wand.
Yeah.
And be reasonably hopeful, because that sword's probably going to get chucked more or less the moment anything better comes along, and almost everything's better.
Yeah, the copper sword is the weakest sword that you can find, so
Gold.
Well, yeah, outside of gold, but
but still, not much better.
Yeah, I think it's only one better than the gold sword. It's pretty easy to find another copper sword or something better, or some kind of a wand. I probably would have left the copper sword and the pita and brought the 2 eggs, but
because you can use the eggs as an egg bomb. You can hatch them and fuse them, maybe. You can also feed them to Kyun, and it will be the same as a pita fruit.
Yeah, that is
stuff.
One really, really good thing about the eggs. It's kind of like the Tumna fruit, where they have multiple uses. They're not really a glitch item like the Tumna frog glitch that we were talking about earlier for tile immunity, but being able to hatch, throw them, or feed them makes them a really versatile item. So it's really nice to have them around, especially certain monsters like the balloon, where it doesn't have a spell. So you can reliably get a direct attack out of it. With things that have a spell, like the clown, sometimes they will, when you throw them, instead of doing a melee attack, they'll cast their spell. So,
and that can be unfortunate.
Yeah, or
but
like
when with the balloon and the Palumpa, you know that that's not going to happen, because neither of them has spell access.
Yeah, and that's even they can even do skills like a Dreamin' Egg could try to put something to sleep, I believe. And a lot of the monster abilities like that have really, really low hit chance. So it's probably not going to work most of the time. And the benefit of throwing the monster or throwing the egg is that when it hatches at 50 levels above Ko. So even at level 1, that egg that you throw is going to hatch at level 51, do a single attack, and then disappear. So it's going to do a nice, hefty amount of damage.
Eggs are good. They are like... So there are basically 2 things that I use to rate 8, or maybe 3, let's say 3 roughly speaking, that I use to kind of rate any objects you might have in one's inventory, and they are the following: power, multiple recurring usage, and utility. So like so say for example, eggs have pretty high power in that, barring some exceptional circumstances, you're not like the ones we've admittedly talked about, you're going to be able to almost, or at least often enough, get your way out of one monster.
Ooh, another egg for Razor on floor 11. That could be really
Fun.
good.
That could be really fun.
Floor, I think it's 11 to 20.
Stream one and Shuzo walks by. That's not a great plan, Shuzo. It's better than your copper sword already.
Yeah. And I think, is it floor 11 to 20 can have Garuda eggs, so that's something he would probably... I would definitely start hatching that egg right now.
Yeah. Like, there's certainly some duds you could have on this floor.
Yeah, you can get that Dream in a Volcano, but it could also... I think it could also be a Newell, which is the best
pretty good
in the game.
It's got a spell. It's your friend. It's shaped like a friend. It would make Child Demi very happy. U-Boat's a possibility. Clown. Meanwhile, Shuzo has gotten into a bit of a pickle with Kyun being confused and also on the other side of the room.
Yeah, when your familiar is confused, you can no longer command it. So he doesn't have mixed magic at the moment, and
that's a lot of MP gone.
Yeah, he's just wasting his MP. I think that's 10 MP a cast for Brid.
And it didn't even hit anything useful.
Yeah, I think the only way he's gonna be able to kill this balloon is if he throws his sword at... Oh no, he has another medicinal. He can probably kill it. If that other balloon wakes up, though, he's in some
This is
real
a sleepy balloon, and I'm glad for it for Shuzo.
Ooh, Razor not pick. There we go, picking up that blue collar. Very nice. Now he has access to fusion. Not that he really has anything that he would want to fuse at the moment.
Unless that cyan egg is something good.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. No, he still has.
No,
it.
he didn't.
I mean,
Okay. Wind crystalling out to see what it is. That's an interesting choice.
I'm kind of neutral on this. I think his inventory was good enough that he could have kept going, but...
And just hatched it in the tower?
Yeah.
Agreed. So let's see what that is now.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was a Newell egg. And he's gonna sell it!
Sell it! It's
blasphemy!
Good.
Blasphemy! We're gonna have to have a conversation about this later.
Yeah, no, Newell is good. Keep Newell. Newell is a medicine box. It is shaped like a friend. And...
What have you been teaching your student here? I cannot believe this.
And also it has a spell on lock to begin with, so you can just mix your magic with it right away. It makes a nice backup monster. Kyun is more powerful and is level up. That is a good point. But on the other hand, like, your choices are... But I think it's better than a medicinal herb, which Razor can.
Yeah, and it is kind of a rough choice here, because if he had hatched it in the tower, it would have been whatever level Ko was at the time, so it could have been potentially useful. He could have maybe swapped it for Kyun. Taking it back to the house, if he would have hatched it here, it would have been at level 1.
And that is unfortunate.
Yeah, that is...
That's just a bad bit of luck of the draw.
Yeah, it's too late into the run to really commit to swapping out of Kyun. He could have still brought it in, like Deme said. It does have a heal spell. It could have been used just to heal up, since he does have the blue collar. He wouldn't have
fuse it into Kyun.
Yeah, and that isn't. He could have
used water, have the healing spell.
And the the Mule can eat any fruit or herb or seed and get 50 MP out of it. So it would have been kind of like an infinite recovery ball in a sense. So it still could have been worth using even at level 1. It wouldn't have been super good at healing, but it would have been essentially infinite heals. It would have costed time, obviously, but... oh, and they actually, Razors... Shuzo's still in the lead at floor 13, actually. So...
Oh yeah, so this is a pretty good position for Shuzo to be in. This is the best way this could have worked out for Shuzo in particular. Yeah, they're in the lead. They're both at square one here.
Ooh, this could be cool. Floor 1 egg. That could be a flame. Flames, while they're super early in the tower, are actually really hard to get as an egg because you can only find them on the first like 5 or so floors. And in your first entry, you can't find an egg until floor 6, I believe. So you can't. We don't usually ever see them in a tournament unless it's a randomizer. So that could be really, really cool. It could also be a lot of other stuff that we don't want to see, like a noise or a troll or something. But having that potential flame is really, really fun.
I would probably just check it with the truth glasses. Cyclone would also be handy. Razor does have the blue collar, and Cyclone does half MP consumption.
Yeah, Cyclone with Kuhn would be really nice. Ooh, and the Stream Wand on Shuzo's side here, I would immediately swap to that.
Yeah.
Even mismatched oh, and he goes for the Wood Wand, okay. Even mismatched element-wise, that would still be better than his sword. The Wood Wand is still better than the sword at this point, so it's not the worst decision ever. And it's not cursed, so he can still swap out later.
Swap to it when needed.
I do like how whenever Shuzo gets to floor 2, he does fight Gosh. Gosh will always give you a medicinal herb, but he also has a chance to drop a wind crystal when he leaves. Unfortunately, he didn't get one this time, but it is, I think in this kind of a setting, it is worthwhile to at least attempt it, because wind crystals can be kind of hard to find sometimes.
Meanwhile, chat is trying to get some goats, and we are going to ignore that. Get some goats, horses, or other things that are probably not goats or horses in this context.
I think Chai is just trying to rile me up here. I'm not gonna let it work, Chai.
You know, that actually does make me think about it for a second here. The man who wants you to make... Oh, Diamond Shield, that's pretty good. Leather and a Diamond Shield, all your shield needs, only one Truth Glasses. Yeah, I would probably put that on for right now.
Yeah, I don't hate that he identified it before putting it on. I kind of would have liked to hold on to it for a spell ball or an egg maybe, but being able to...
that he has.
Oh yeah, yeah, he does have that floor 1 egg, yeah. But yeah, being able to make sure that the shield isn't cursed is really nice. Trying to climb the tower being cursed is not fun.
It's not too bad, all things considered, but it's certainly not ideal, and this is also not ideal. No,
he is level 3 with a diamond shield, though. He should be able to deal with both of these trolls with just that wand. Especially if he gets a lucky paralyze. Yeah, only 1 damage. He's got this. And Kuhn being level 11 is more than capable of handling everything on this floor, so...
Absolutely. Oh no, I think he forgot to set Kuhn off of Wander Around. That's not ideal. Not good.
No, yeah, it's not really what you want to say. I don't think if he's still on AI 3, I don't think it'll even attack anything. It's just gonna keep walking around. Yeah,
Like
it's not
this.
yeah, exactly. He needs to switch it to either 1 or 4. Okay.
Or get to the elevator. Luckily, because Kuhn is such a high level, this was not a real danger to Kuhn, but still not ideal. Stream Wand. Oh, this is that Stream Wand that Shuzo passed up earlier, I think.
Now, having the difference between the wood and stream wand, I would have went with stream, but paralyze and stream being off element, I still would have kept the paralyze here.
At least for now. Eventually, like, Kuhn's at the level where water strats open up pretty much.
Yeah, as soon as he finds like a sea seed or something like that, yeah, then the stream wand will definitely come into play a lot more. I like that he's picking up swords here. If he's planning on chucking them at enemies, they can be really, really good damage early on. But I don't think I've seen either runner actually throw a weapon or anything yet.
No, it's a fairly minor thing, and if you're thinking about avoiding things you might be able to fight, then chucking swords at them doesn't always occur to you as the thing to do. But it does allow you to get some first hit damage in on enemies that normally would want to deny you that.
Yeah, I'd like to throw them at blooms and other water monsters like the Manivas and things that would be a little more difficult to kill otherwise. And I see what Razor's actually doing here. He's actually swapping between his wands depending on what he's encountering. He ran into a cyclone and swapped out off of the stream wand there. I don't think it's really necessary with Kuhn being that high level, but I understand what he's doing here.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Shuzo has gotten caught between a rock and a hard place, or rather, I guess, one flower and another. Bonjour, Swampy! I mean, we are in the second the best of 3 match, and currently, about halfway through, both of the runners have had a bit of a rough time. Shuzo currently has a lead both in terms of highest floor reach and in terms of actually current floor.
He's in a bit of a rough spot here. He has a medicinal herb that he could use, but as far as being set up for a nice climb, I think Razor's actually in a bit of a better spot here with his Kuhn being significantly higher level. He's already checked his stream wand. All he needs is a means of swapping genus here. He's got a fireball that he knows how many charges are in it. That malicious scroll. He's got an egg already. I think he's pretty set to make a decent climb here as long as he can keep Kuhn from dying. I'd really like to see him swap the AI here so Kuhn stops taking unnecessary damage here, but yeah,
that would be good. There we see a sword chuck.
Kuhn is gonna die here. I think it's being hit by 2 things right now.
Yeah, seems to be the case. Even if Kuhn has a high level.
Get away.
Yeah, something happened there. But now he still has the entire floor to try and find Kuhn in. I might even go and hit that warp trap. It will take you somewhere.
Yeah,
and that somewhere is somewhere. There we go.
Okay, there we go, yeah.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
is Kuhn took a bit of a beating there, but he's still alive, and that's what really matters. So he's looking pretty good still. I just have to be a little careful with Kuhn for a little while. And come on, take a step back and get the height advantage. You could really use that on 7 HP Shuzo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not ideal, and Shuzo got very lucky just then.
Yeah, I mean, he could have survived that hit, but he would have been on like 3 or 4 HP. Oh, did he hit another warp trap? Did Razor hit another warp trap?
Could be. Something happened just then.
Oh, and that egg was
just a
another
Palumpa.
Palumpa!
We're gonna have to. China's gonna have to give Razor. Oh boy, there goes Kuhn. Razor's gonna have to get. Or Chai's gonna have to give Razor a talking to about setting Kuhn's AI. Yeah, Mana Weaver did get a level up. That's nice for the Mana Weaver.
I think
I would love. You know, now I'm imagining the Mana Weaver getting like I killed a player familiar, and all I got was this T-shirt shirt. It wouldn't fit terribly well. The Mana Weaver would just sort of goop on through it, but maybe it could be absorbed somewhere into it. Maybe?
could transform into it.
True.
And suddenly, Razor's climb is not looking nearly as strong anymore. He doesn't even really have much of an inventory anymore either. No means of
escape. A lot of it got eaten up just by trying to get back to Kuhn and not being able to. Oh, and a Scarlet Wand. Oh, Wind Crystal. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
I think
given
that's
the options.
Especially finding that Scarlet Wand. Having that Scarlet Wand and a Stream Wand. Still has that Fireball with 1 charge. Get his Kuhn back. Got 19 or 18 and a half minutes left.
And that's certainly intense. Interesting. Well, I suppose given the limits of what one can get, that does make some degree of sense of just picking your 4 favorites, pretty much, or your 5 favorites. Favorite things here. Keeping that Cure-All, I think I'd keep the Fireball first. But that's just my take.
Yeah, I think that I probably would have kept the Fireball as well. It only had the 1 charge in it, but it's something to go in with, and you know it only has 1 charge going in. It stays identified. So I mean, Cure-All is nice too, but
yeah, the main things that you absolutely want a Cure-All herb for are curses, and if you're running in with a Diamond Shield and a Scarlet Wand, you might not care about that. Because they're not cursed. Meanwhile, Shuzo goes for the pickup. This is, I think, the first pickup we have seen all match, and gets it.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a whole lot of lifts in this tournament so far. This is only the 2nd match, and I know that one of our runners is known for her lift luck. Which I believe she's playing tomorrow. We'll probably see quite a bit of that tomorrow, but for now, yeah, that's one of the first lifts we've seen so far in this tournament.
But unfortunately, you can't lift balloons, and so Lag is going to have to go between a rock and a hard place here.
That diamond shield really helping out here. That would have hit him for like 8 or 9 otherwise. Oh, it is a diamond +2. Yeah, that's really worthwhile. That's negating, I think, 5 damage?
Yeah, that is, particularly on these floors, a pretty good amount. And it'll be a minute before it becomes irrelevant, and in a minute, I'm pretty sure it's not likely to become completely irrelevant before the end of this match, but yeah! Yes, Shuzo is managing to hang on to this lead. He might even be capable of extending it this run. That would be a thing to see.
Yeah, he's got a few of the fire and blaze ball are really nice. That stream wand, if he can, even at level 6, this far in, it's probably worth going water because this is probably going to be his final climb, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine otherwise.
Oh, and he does have a CC. He has 2 of them, actually. He could. Maybe he's just waiting to try and get as much as he can.
Probably the case.
In the long shot here. I think the spell balls go like up to 7 tiles, roughly. Most of them. And that puts Kyun at level 7 now, which is pretty close to... You want to try and get between level 9 and 11. There's not much difference between 9 and 11 as far as this
very little.
He's pretty much at max damage for this point, so he could go water pretty much any time now if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think probably would not go amiss given the circumstances, given how late in this match is.
Unless he can find a Scarlet Wand. I think going
right
water.
now.
I think going water is the play, unless he finds that Scarlet Wand. Because he's been having he's had a couple close calls now with with all these encounters. That Wood Wand, it is helping, but it's not helping nearly as much as he would like.
Yeah, that is what we're seeing when we're seeing him go for those spell balls and just keep going. Now, see, I would want to keep Kyun in a position where you can share pain, because Blooms will just wait their turn, brainwashing your monster who cannot be brainwashed. That is Kyun's own special talent, and that's less than ideal.
I think that's a first for this tournament, a nice monster den.
Yeah, I would maybe get out of its immediate vicinity. I think maybe
you know
even
what?
not try and fight it, but now everything's awake.
Let's swap to Razor
Yeah.
for that music. There we go.
Those good jams.
I think his Kyun is strong enough that on AI1 he could probably kill all of this entire room just on his own, maybe with a little help from Ko, but that's a lot of things. It's gonna take a long time to deal with that. Thankfully though, he does have that diamond +1, and it is on floor 4, so he's not in a lot of danger. He's gonna take 1 damage from most of the things in here.
Yeah, this is a nutty room. I think really the main problem with this monster den is that it will take so much time.
Yeah.
Time that this race really doesn't have.
And he's not really gaining all that much experience. He's only getting 3 and 4 experience, which at this point is okay for Ko to some extent, but Kyun isn't really benefiting from this at all. being level 11 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd really like to see him. I mean, as fun as it is to kill an entire room of monsters, I'd really like to see him just walk away from this.
Meanwhile,
oh, and Shuzo down on floor 9.
Yeah,
He's
that's
still in
rough.
the lead, though. He is still in the lead.
Razor has 10 minutes to get a pretty reasonable number of floors, honestly, to floor 14. That's about a floor a minute. That's pretty doable. You know, provided Razor does not waste 5 minutes on this rub.
I wonder what he's thinking right now, trying to kill this entire room.
Maybe he's thinking he doesn't have a choice, but he does, or that being sandwiched by all these guys be worse, except he kind of already is.
Yeah, the problem here is that Ko is still taking the occasional hit, and he's only taking 1, but he's down to 9 hit points already. So he's gotta be careful. He has no means of. Yeah, he has no means of healing himself, so he's gonna have to be a little careful here, especially against the flames. If they get in range with him, they can do sled, and that'll hit more than 1 damage. So okay, that level up helped a little bit.
Certainly does. Possibly, he is just thinking, YOLO, how often do I get to clear out an entire monster den? And you know what? Valid.
Now, from that entire room full of monsters, his Kyun got maybe half of a level up.
Yeesh.
And that cost him roughly 40 MP to do. Each one of those physical attacks costs 1 MP apiece. So that was some really costly experience, and it we did get to hear the sweet monster den music for that much longer though, so
that is true. And that's not something we often get, because the normal person response to Monster Den is nope, I'm out.
Yeah, run away or acid rain ball or something like that. Oh, Shuzo opted to not fight Gosh that time.
Shuzo probably feeling the time crunch.
Yeah, I think the previous times he was trying to get that wind crystal, and with only 9 minutes left, there's no reason to have that crystal, so
yeah,
save the time. He didn't get the medicinal herb from Gosh either, which isn't the end of the world, but would have been nice considering he doesn't have a shield or a weapon. And then he gets a wind crystal anyway, right away.
That's gotta sting a little bit.
Yeah, Septic. We'll ask him about that monster den in the interview then. Because I am curious what his reasoning was behind that.
Well, Septic is asking about what Kyun thinks about being left in to fight the entire horde, pretty much, while his tamer hides behind him. He probably thinks, oh god, Belvo's plan is to get this kid up to the top? Really? I'm gonna have to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's, not... Oh, good point. Yes, I am spoiling this 20-something yada-yada-year-old game. With its 3 seconds of storyline, pretty much. That said, this does remind me of the fact that Kyun has a voice in the Japanese version. That's really cute. It's really cute. For little battle lines. And like, I totally get why this isn't kept in the port over or the translation, because voice actors cost money, and money clearly was not something that this translation team had to spare. But it is one of those things that one very rarely gets to hear.
Yeah, I don't think he says a whole lot either. I think he says something along the lines of "I'm sorry" when he dies, and he says "flame sword" or something like that.
He also goes, "Get down" on a level up. Very important. That's my favorite. But yeah, it's not like a super robust bit of voice linery. But
it is a nice touch though. Because Kyun is a very unique monster as far as that. He's the only one that's actually able to speak. And having that actually be part of, your actual gameplay is kind of nice, so.
This raises a whole bunch of questions about how this occurs. We're not going to worry about that, and neither will the game.
Both runners on floor 7.
Yeah? The real race is, can either of them in the next 5 minutes make it up to floor 14, and which one will do it first? True, he also doesn't change color on element swaps, unlike other monsters which switch their palettes around. This raises the question that, given that other monsters also will have a different coloration if they're on your side versus not.
He's also the only one that has multiple attack animations for height advantage, which I find really cool. I really like his height advantage when he poops down to the ground and kicks the enemy in the face.
Yeah, that's cute. Cute appreciation zone for like a few minutes here.
Oh, and Kyun down.
That puts the end of Kyun appreciation time, I think.
The Neva didn't even get up a level. Poor guy.
But this leaves Shuzo.
That makes getting up to 14 that much harder, but especially on 6 HP with no shield. He does have the Earth Shield. I almost wish he would equip it just for the
this is the right time to have it, I think. This is the right time to have the Earth Shield. Surrounded by water monsters.
And right
There's
next to a bomb
elevator.
trap.
True. One never knows. But on the other hand, at this HP level, a bomb trap would kill anyway.
It's gonna kill him anyway.
So what difference does it make? This is the one time you could have a consequence-free shield put on. Think about it, Shuzo. Also, man, this is clearly not going to end well.
Do it. Oh, it's not even cursed. What is this game?
But it allows Shuzo to exit that room and...
Oh no, take it off! I mean, it doesn't matter anyway. He's gonna die to pretty much any kind of trap. So...
Yep.
But it worked though. It's saved him twice now.
Yep, that is about the best he can hope for here. There's that elevator. Don't get greedy, Shuzo. There we go.
Shuzo, I'm taking the lead for this tower run by just like a split second. Ooh, but Razor having that exit loop.
means that
He's gonna have
this
to be
tower
quick.
run.
He's gonna have to be quick, but he could potentially get to
Yeah,
14,
with
especially
that
with
sort
that
of
kind of
truck,
elevator
yeah.
look. Yeah, it's
This
definitely
is
possible.
just straight up sprint time. No, okay. Basically, the first time he turned around to fight, that means that Shuzo is going to take this race. And now
Yeah,
we will have a real game 3.
he doesn't have time to fight. I mean, he doesn't know that he's only a couple floors away from victory, but he really would have had to go for lifts or something to really eke out every second that he can here. Oh, Shuzo down on 10 to the Earth Shield of all things.
Oof.
Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, it did negate some damage. He probably wouldn't have survived that anyway.
And
But
that's
this
the
is,
hour.
yeah, that is game for Razor 2-0. I will see if they want to do a
Is it?
friendly.
No, it's not. It's not
Oh no,
a
no, no!
game for
That was.
Razor.
I'm sorry. That was Shuzo's win. I am so sorry. That is
Okay, I am
1-1. I am
going
sorry, guys.
to
Yeah.
go refresh my drink.
Alright, and I will get them set up for seed
For round 3.
This time we need 7869. So while everybody is being set up for the 3rd seed, the unfriendly 3rd seed, what's going on with you guys in chat today? Normally this time would kind of be filled with predictions for what monster we're going to get in like a randomizer style tournament, but we're always going to get Kuhn in this one, so takes away a little bit of the things to talk about here, but that gives me more time to talk to you guys, so... Kuhn starter with Palumpa egg? I don't know, Skeef. That's kind of specific. Are you sure? And get a prediction? I don't think that I can do that, but yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. We had a prediction for yesterday's match, which was fun. Oh yeah, you are a mod here, Panda. Yeah, go ahead. That'd be fun. Alright, so Razor is good, and so is Shuzo. So in the meantime, anyone that is not part of our Discord, there is a link here. We recently changed our name. We used to be the Azure Dream Speedrun, but now we are the Community. Pun fully intended. But we welcome anyone, speedrunners, casuals, randomizer enthusiasts, everybody's welcome. We have a community for the PlayStation and the Game Boy Color, I believe, version as well. We have a resource section. We have like downloads for the neat little program. It's the state display that we're using at the bottom of the screen to track your inventory and whatnot for streaming and such. There's all kinds of cool stuff in there, and it's a really friendly community. So if you want to stop by, feel free to. No obligations to do anything other than hang out and chill with us.
Yeah. There's also some other categories that we don't usually run in tournament-based settings just because of time and circumstances, but they are fun. If anyone wants to check them out, there's New Game Plus, where you can pick basically any 5 items or familiars that you would in theory have fresh and climb up the tower with that. There's Bookless, where you do everything except the little monster book that you fill out by owning or defeating monsters. There's 100%, which is if you like to suffer. Like, if you thought to yourself, yeah, Bookless is fun, how about we do that but slower and much more likely to be upset by RNG? There's Palumpa Percent, which is... Does it actually have a leaderboard, or is that category just a joke? I can't actually remember. Either way, someone will be enthused if you decide to do it, where you have to keep that little baby Palumpa you get at the start alive and with you the whole way, using it as your only monster. There's Earthquake Percent, which is when you decide that your anti-level... Oh, going with a new name this time, Raisin. Very cool. Where you decide, like, the anti-turtling strats, where you get thrown up a floor, or if you wait long enough... If you want that to be your only form of progression, that took me a while to get to. Sorry about that.
Okay.
It's sort of like a slow run category, if you will. There's Curry Percent for if Bookless is a little bit too long and involved for you and you just want to get to a funny joke that is a community meme. Any other categories you can think of?
Oh man, there's a lot of them actually.
That is a lot of them. Yeah, and there's also just fun with the randomizer. Oh, there's Second Tower. There's endurance mode using the randomizer to just how long can you stay alive through an endless tower. That one's fun.
Yeah, there's not many that actually allow the randomizer, but there are a few, and they're pretty fun. I've played some of them. The survival mode is it's really broken, but really fun at the same time.
I think that about covered. That covers a good enough idea that you can understand why joining this community would be a cool thing for you to do. And we are off for round 3. Who is going to take the map?
Okay, I am going to need a moment. I will be right back, Deme.
Absolutely, I will keep the fire warm. And, like, this is, I think, the best starting situation you could possibly be in. You have a nice troll, he's asleep, you get that 10 HP worth of level up, and can go. Which is important for when you get into this situation, which is not the best situation you could possibly be in. Shuzo needs to be a little careful with that movement. That step could have avoided taking a lot of damage. Taking that damage, and very early on, you are almost as fragile as you will be later on. Oh no, Sled, oof, loses Kyun immediately. That is not a good start. in some ways, it makes getting... I think if you do this early, your options are go completely commando or gun for a wind crystal as fast as you can, because you won't get anything for dying. Oh, that's sad. This is bad. This is real bad.
Oh no, I come back and I'm on 3 HP and no Qun? What happened?
The room that Shuzo is re-entering now had a flame and a troll in it. And they sort of double-teamed Qun in the doorway.
Ooh, that's rough.
And then the flame pulled out sled.
Oh, yep, that'll do it. That's
and then
rough.
a bomb trap.
Yeah, I saw the bomb trap. Put him on 2 hit points. That little Palumpa could have taken him out.
Yeah, that could have gone better.
At least he survived. That's the important
True.
thing. Hopefully he can find a wind crystal or something and kind of reset it. That pillar ball is a really, really nice find.
Yeah, that's a keeper. That's an item you want to be able to take home with you, see how many charges it has. That's one that you bring home to meet your mother.
Might even let her take care of it for a little while.
Could be. Be
Ooh,
particularly
that's no
given.
good.
Oh,
that slow trap
ball?
could be a death sentence here.
Yeah, that's real bad. That's real scary.
Oh, please wear off.
There we go.
Okay,
wore off just in the nick of time. Let's hope for a gentle floor here.
Win a wand? Stream wand. Not the ideal one yet, but also really, really nice.
Certainly, given that they haven't found any other wands, we take those.
Oh, Razor actually has a blinder ball too. That's probably one of my favorite spell balls.
It can be very handy. I would rank it relatively... I mean, I guess what's relatively low, right? I would certainly... It's definitely not bad. It's better than bad, it's good.
Oh, it's really good, especially on the higher floors when you can't really kill anything anyway.
Yeah, or you can't lift things.
Yeah, especially for the things that you can't lift. Being able to blind them and then just walk out of their way and they walk right by you. It's super nice. Obviously you don't get experience for it, so maybe not the best ball, but it is a good survivability tool.
And most of the status ailment balls have a good many charges on them.
Yeah, you can pretty reliably get between like 5 and 7 charges out of them. I think most balls can pretty much have between 5 and 7, outside of the acid rain, which is always 1, unless you sand it.
Yeah, might not be a bad idea to equip the ice shield. It might be cursed, but on the other hand, Shuzo, you need every bit of help you can get right now.
Yeah, being on his own, even with it being elemental, which would only really be bad against cyclones right now, it still has 5 defense on it, which is kind of gonna negate most of that elemental disadvantage anyway. It's pretty much just all good. Even if it is cursed, I mean, he's gonna be looking for a way to leave the tower soon, as soon as he can anyway, most likely, so...
Yeah. I'd say equip it. It is one of the best options available right now. Certainly the best option available this moment, precisely. Which is when Shuzo needs it.
Oh, and I wish he would have explored this floor, because it's gonna be it's just gonna get harder to explore and try to find items from here out. He had a better chance of being able to search the 5th floor versus the 6th floor, but
absolutely.
He does have some tools. He has that blinder, and he has 3 fireballs.
Yeah?
varying strengths. They all do actually have different relative strengths. And that egg, of course, but I think if I were in his position, I'd like to save as many charges on those balls as I can.
Yeah, come back with them on the second run. Or keep them for as long as you can to maybe help you find that wind crystal. It's a great inventory. It's a fantastic inventory, and like Razor could use this to go very far indeed.
Oh yeah, I mean even Shuzo, if he really wanted to, could really push. I mean, they both have really good inventories right now. This is something that you would want to see in like an any percent style climb. You got all kinds of offensive tools. You got that blinder for utility, Mahel seed for utility, the exit loop. Yeah, he has a lot of utility and a lot of firepower here. He can realistically get really high in the tower without Kuhn if he plays his cards right.
Yeah, and that is the question. Because one thing that, while I was being coached on this for my own practice, Sam Knight pointed out, is that like when you can take a fight, it's sometimes better to just take it. And one thing that we see happening a lot with Shuzo is when the fight is theoretically takeable, waiting a while to actually fight sometimes makes the situation worse.
Yeah, because if he would have taken care, like, especially if he would have equipped the ice shield, he could have fought the balloon that was following him and not been pintered between two of them and potentially saved those two
spell charges.
Yeah, whatever the fireball charges that he used. He could have potentially saved those if he equipped the ice shield. It would have been a little time consuming and he would have took some damage, yeah, but the those expendable charges are really necessary on some of the higher floors.
And particularly where Shuzo's current situation, where frankly living is hard enough as it is.
When Razor actually used the blue sand on his wood shield, he's not equipping the ice shield either. I wonder why.
They're very cautious about their elemental suit. But yeah, it's a little silly. Particularly in this streak where, like, it's gonna be a while until we find a whole lot of dangerous... Well, I guess there's clowns. Are we really that afraid of clowns?
With all that firepower? No, not even a little bit. I mean, I think that they might be overestimating the curse status a little bit. It's not something that you want, obviously, but it's not the end of the world if you do get cursed.
Right, I think at this point in time it would do less harm than like keeping in a worse shield for a while would be. Particularly given decurse scrolls aren't uncommon, re-entries are allowed.
Yeah,
Live a little.
There we go. Burning a clown. 56. That's some pretty good experience for this point. It is
good
really
job, Mana Weaver
unfortunate.
juking.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen much of that either. The Maneva jukes are really important on the higher floors when they become pretty tanky. I mean, even on these low floors, especially on your first climb, they can be kind of troublesome to take care of. So being able to just completely negate them is really nice.
Really, just in general, it's great that the monster you see several times is such an easy one to bypass entirely. Ooh. Ooh. Not ideal, but pretty manageable, particularly for Razor here. Shuzo is doing pretty well here without Q. Ooh, a lot of those resources are getting whittled down, but in the meanwhile, Shuzo has gotten pretty good head of steam going.
Yeah, hopefully he can make a good climb here, because if he does end up dying or leaving, his Kyun is still, I assume, still level 1. I wasn't there to see it actually.
2.
Level 2? Okay.
Yeah, they both got to level 2 before that situation happened, because the first thing that both of them encountered was a sleeping troll.
Oh, nice, nice. So yeah, especially if he dies, he's gonna be in a pretty bad spot with Kyun only being level 2. And he spent now 13.5 minutes on this climb. There we go, Wind Crystal. Does he use it right away? I mean, there's arguments for both.
Yeah, this is a nice inventory. You're not going to be able to take it all. But it's also only going to last so long. And also, Shuzo, equip the ice shield. What are you doing?
Yeah, and definitely on these floors, the ice shield, cursed or not, is definitely worth
its weight in gold, really.
That's not gonna hit. Yeah, that's too much height difference there.
Will either of them put on the ice shield? That is the question. My money is on probably not at this point. Generally speaking, or at least my approach, if this were me, A, I'd have put it on already. B, if I hadn't, at this point, I would not have in general. Unfortunately, the crack trap is wasting the value of this holy scroll, because neither of them can attack the other. Luck dictates that they are cursed. What I generally do is, the best shield and weapon I find by floor 5, I take that gamble on.
Now go for the lift. And go for the lift. Chuck it.
Yeah, we don't have to be in this. We don't have to be here in this room. No.
Oh, and that fireball is empty.
Yeah, that's less than ideal.
Oh, and his holy scroll wore off. Oh no.
Should have gone for the pickup. This is a situation that's great for pickups. Pickups for folks playing along at home. You have one enemy. That enemy is pick-upable. You can survive at least one hit. If you're burning resources to kill it, you have plenty of opportunity to not burn resources and walk past it.
I wish he would have checked that sand. He has inventory space. That could
and a white sand would have been very handy, given this particular set of circumstances.
Yeah, he has a lot of good options to use that on.
I mean, you say that, but like, again, having your cursed inventory isn't that bad. It's not that dangerous. I mean, except the Earth Shield.
Yeah,
but Ice Shield, not so much.
As
because
far
most of your wind elemental monster, with a couple of exceptions, are tricksy monsters. They are monsters whose chief danger lies in things other than their ability to inflict loads and loads of damage.
As far as being stuck with an elemental shield, the ice one would definitely be the way to go.
Yeah, see, Scorch is a little bit, I agree, less as secure than ice because, well, while a lot of wind monsters are pretty much tricksy monsters, a lot of water monsters are monsters that hurt a lot. And pretty much all fire monsters are monsters that hurt a lot.
Oh, and yeah, I can attest, Glacier Ice hurts a lot with the Scorch Shield equipped.
Yep. But ice is probably, of your elemental shields, the safest. And it's not like Decur Scrolls don't exist.
Yeah, I mean, especially on the higher floors, the only wind monster is the Golem, which you're gonna burn anyway. So at worst, you're gonna be neutral compatibility with glaciers, and everything else you're gonna be at elemental advantage. So there's not really a downside really for the ice shield.
But yes, interesting. Yeah, because the U-boats couldn't get up onto that second level without going through the holy tile square, they just could not get an attack in. They just could not come up for air. They just chilled. That was an interesting use of some tech. Truth glasses, check about that ice shield. Check if it's cursed, please. Let us know. We need to know how these things. Or are you going to check the steel shield? And all
What
this
is
and
this?
equipped it without even checking. What is this?
I'm curious why he's even carrying the ice shield.
If he's not going to look
Yeah.
and see.
Yeah. Because, I mean, this would be the place to use it with the griffins, the volcanoes.
Yeah.
This would be the place to use it for sure.
Shuzo off to an early lead that Hood we saw in the last game. It hung the entire game. So this could be an important run.
That's gonna hurt. I'd really like to see Shuzo turn his screen. He could very easily walk into a Kraken or something. There we go.
There we go. Hopefully he didn't hear us. Well, no, if he'd heard us, he would have put on the ice shield. Yep, there's that Kraken. What
Yeah, and perfect use of a blinder ball right there.
Yeah. Malicious spell usage. That's not one that we see every day, or even very often, but I guess Razor's feeling lucky.
And it's not it's actually something that I picked up from Sand Knight. If you find one early enough, or if you're really strong, like Razor is right now, it's not a bad idea to use it on some of the early floors, because you can pretty easily kill them and then get more experience for it.
This is not good.
Yeah, he can.
Oh, goodness.
He needs to pick a direction and
go that way. I wouldn't even bother waiting.
I mean, now he can take another hit. No, he can't go that way.
He can't go that way. You know what would have been really useful there?
And, that ice shield, maybe?
Yeah, but that is rough. And now Cune's level 2. And they're naked.
Cursed comment. Oh, I guess you're right. I did mention about walking right into a...
Yeah.
That's my bad. I'm sorry, Shuzo.
To be fair, the fact that the Kraken was there, Shuzo successfully avoided walking into the Kraken.
Yeah, it wasn't the Kraken wasn't the problem. It was the 3 griffins that were the problem. That
really
does
unfortunate.
This puts Shuzo at 13 for his floor score, which still leaves him in the lead. We can switch to Razor now since he's still in the tower.
Yeah.
And Razor's inventory is just as good, if not maybe even a little better than...
Probably a bit better given...
Yeah, and he still has Queen alive. With a Stream 1 swap, he still I believe he still has the Palumpa egg, that violet one.
Yep, I think so. We haven't seen any...
He's not high enough to actually be able to fuse yet, so... floor, he doesn't have the blue collar yet, so fusion isn't really an option for that yet, but... Yeah,
the pick up and chuck approach to avoiding monsters is a good one. Using a Palumparang or other monster boomerang tactic is a very nice way of avoiding fights when you can't win them. Meanwhile, Shuzo, you probably should turn around and fight here.
Yeah, and this is exactly
what... advantage.
And this is exactly the problem that I was talking about earlier. Now that Shuzo died, he doesn't have any of those spell balls or anything. His Q's only level 2. He's gonna have a rough climb now, while Razor still has all of that inventory. His Q's still alive. Shuzo still has the lead right now, but it's very likely that lead's not gonna hold up much longer, and he's gonna have a much harder climb now.
Yeah, it is a very fragile lead. It can be held. And we saw that in the last race, but very fragile.
Yeah, it's very likely going to be no longer a lead shortly, but anything is possible. A few missteps here or there, and Razor could also go down fairly easily. Getting
surrounded by those griffins is a tough situation for anyone if that happens again. But it might not.
And I mean, Razor does have the Olim, which Shuzo didn't have. He has that Ice Rock. I don't think that Shuzo had that either. He's got more options than Razor did, and some of them, especially for a group of 3 Griffins, I think are a little better than what Shuzo had to deal with.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, I mean, it could all very easily go, make a left turn here. Mm-hmm. And if it were to happen that Razor goes down in much the same way that Shuzo did, Shuzo still will have that lead, and it'll stand for quite a while. Another Ice Shield, is he gonna equip it?
Don't be silly, no one equips Ice Shields apparently. But yes, it is interesting that people are fairly, maybe even I think in Razorflame's case, too conscious of the elemental triangle when it comes to outgoing damage, but not ingoing. Because I think even with the elemental disadvantage, that wand damage boost is better than that copper sword.
Yeah, at this point with Kuhn being level 10, I don't think, I think the Stream Wand is just outright better than than his copper sword would be against pretty much anything. It's interesting that Razor is holding 2 wind crystals. That does change the tower a little bit. It will. It has the potential.
There we go.
Okay, it has the potential to change a little bit of the RNG as far as items go. The monsters will stay the same, the floor will stay the same, but the items that are found can vary between runners if one has 2 wind crystals and the other doesn't. But that is no longer a possibility. We lost one of the wind crystals, which is fine.
Yeah, it's not a big loss. Holy Bell, that's really excellent. Let's see if 7 charges still on that pillar ball.
And he didn't pick up the Holy Bell. I think he used it. I think he used that so he had room, and then he just left it. Oh no! And the Holy Bell would have been perfect here. Oh,
yeah, this would have been a great moment for that. Unfortunately,
oh man,
I'm thinking maybe Ice Rock.
That's 2 dens for Razor.
Wind Crystal, okay.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah, no, this would have been a rough one.
If the
This would have been a
elevator
rough
was,
one.
if the elevator had been in that room, he could have maybe used
It
the
was in that
Mahel.
room.
He could have maybe ice rocked and Maheld there, or something along those lines. But
But
I don't.
I can respect that. I can respect this. Also,
Yeah.
look, the ice shield isn't cursed, and it's still getting sold off. That's really sad.
I mean, he's got the wood +1. Why would he need an ice shield?
Can't imagine why. But being able to keep that pillar ball is so good.
Yeah, as far as crystalling out there, I don't think it was necessarily a misplay by any means. He very easily
Choice.
with
a
Dreamin's in that
pillar
room.
Ball, really nice.
Yeah, and then he still gets to keep his blinder and the blaze ball as well. His Cune's nice high level. He has that stream wand. He can easily find a sea seed or something on his next climb. And I mean, with Dreamin being in that den. Ooh, 2 elevators.
Oh, 2 elevators in the same room. That's kind of not ideal.
Being put to sleep in that den was a very real possibility and a very real death sentence. So I don't disagree with it. I think there were ways that he could have dealt with it, but I don't think it was a misplay by any means.
Yeah, a cautious decision, and one that could have consequences. But leaving the blinder behind for a PETA, that's of dubious value. That's not. That's
Definitely.
A decision. It's a tricky decision. I'm not sure if I would have done the same thing, but
if you really needed the PETA, which I mean, with the ball charges that he had, I don't think there's any reason for that at all. But if you really wanted to, I would have got rid of probably the blaze ball and kept the blinder.
Yeah, it does the same thing as the pillar, and the pillar is better and has more charges.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a rough decision. I don't know why. I mean, PETAs are fairly common, and I mean, you can always throw those unwanted wake up herbs and Hazak herbs for a little bit extra MP.
Shuzo does in fact still have no shield. And no ice shield, yes. They really don't want to equip this ice shield. They hate ice shields. I don't know why.
Yeah, that ice shield.
I'm not sure what ice shields did to them. Maybe the ice shield killed their father. No, wait, that's Belbo.
Especially since Shuzo equipped the Earth Shield last round, and he won't equip the Ice. I don't get it.
Maybe both tutors would have had to say something about ice shields, and yet I don't think Chai.
No, I could see Chai.
And now, putting on that fire sword. Wait a second, why would you even do that? Oh, well, Wind Crystal out, fair enough, but that was just silly.
Yeah,
that was just a time sink. There was no reason to do that.
Oh, Chai, my friend, my dear friend. You were wrong on so many levels, and we will talk about this later. I don't really understand. I mean, the sword is nice, I guess, for the first floors. You don't have to use mixed magic, but he sacrificed the ball for the PETA, so MP shouldn't really be too much of a problem anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the thinking was there either. It is true that there's some similarity between the same type attack bonus from the sword to a basic wand, but that's about the most one can say about it.
It would pretty much be about even, I think, because the sword
Yeah.
would have been aligned. The wand gives just a straight up mixed magic bonus, but the sword has a little more attack power. I think it would have been about the same damage, but it also
For
would have been
now.
less accurate. Yeah, for now, exactly. But the sword is less accurate than the wand is.
Ooh, I
I
did
don't see
not
it.
catch that glitch. Also, looks like Shuzo is leaving at the moment. That is a sensible decision. And more fireball charges.
Yeah,
Azure
there are
Dreams
no
is perfectly
bugs.
programmed.
These are all features,
Please
guys.
do clip. I would like to see that actually. Also, man, camera change angles is a wild experience, and I'm not sure how I feel
Yeah,
about it. And I
yeah.
swear, Razor, if you put on that copper sword,
I don't think I've ever really looked at that floor from that angle before. That looked really weird. I'm not okay with
looked
that.
cool. Honestly, it looked like kind of a Lion Kingy moment, looking out over all you survey or something like that.
Oh, and
Circle
he
of
is
life, etc.
opting to fight Gosh. Nice, nice. That's a free med herb. Does he get the wind crystal?
No
No.
Wind Crystal, but that's probably fine, honestly. They're about halfway through the match. I'd
Yeah, and with
want
his
to think about sticking around.
yeah, and with his he has the blaze, the pillar, and a fireball now with the med herb. He has quite a setup going into floor 3. Kuhn level 10 with a stream wand. He has pretty much everything he needs to make a solid final climb. I don't think he should.
Absolutely.
I mean, the wind crystal is nice to have if you have the inventory space,
Setting
but
Kuhn on 4 is, at this point, fairly reasonable, but also it gives me the heebie-jeebies. Kuhn isn't smart enough to be on 4. Kuhn needs supervision. Or Kuhn will start clipping through the floor. When you let Kuhn wander around doing whatever he wishes, he's going to do stupid things like clip through the floor. Taking that ice shield with. Are you going to equip it, Shuzo? At this point, it almost feels like a deliberate act of spite. I give up understanding it.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him about it later because I am really curious. Why keep it? Why keep it and not use it?
Honestly, not sure that was a necessary spell ball usage there. CC, use it. There we go.
Yeah,
Now,
we're sitting pretty now on Razor's side. He's about as
Razor
strong as
now.
he can be as far as mixed magic goes. He's got the wand to complement it. He's got some really
Diamond
strong spell
shield. That's
balls.
pretty good.
Yeah, that diamond shield.
Someone's equipping a shield.
Yeah, Razor's looking really, really good now to make a solid climb.
Mm-hmm. And
With this
just in
inventory,
time, they have enough time to overthrow Shuzo's 13 there.
with this inventory, I think it might even be worth just skipping over these early floors. I mean, pick up what you find along the way,
get
but he
more
doesn't
EXP
really.
this way from later floors that it balances out, roughly speaking. And Water Kuhn is good for whatever.
Exactly. Kuhn is strong enough that he can really help you kill some of the monsters on the higher floors, like the volcanoes, which are worth a lot more experience. So if you can kind of just dash for the elevator, pick up whatever you find on the way, I think at this point that's the play to go for Razor, because he just has a really, really strong inventory for this climb right now.
Yeah.
And a cure-all herb now.
Nice. Good for everything that ails you. Why did you do that? Razor, I promise you, you're never going to...
Ooh. Got that lucky wind crystal drop for sure.
Yeah, very nice. So the question is, who will break to 14? Wait, haven't we seen this before? Are we in a Groundhog Day loop?
We didn't have an ice shield last time.
True. The ice shield is our proof that we're not in a Groundhog Day style loop. Neither of us has to go abduct a groundhog and then try and drive it into peril. Which is good. I don't know where I could get a groundhog in this state.
Oh, and Shuzo has the steel sword. With a steel sword and an ice shield that you don't equip, victory is guaranteed.
I think they both have a steel sword. It might even be the same steel sword.
Actually, they do, and Razor has equipped it at some point, so...
Yep. Right after finding that cure-all herb, I guess because Razor went, well, if I'm cursed, I can cure-all it. But important thing to know...
He doesn't have a decurse.
Don't do that until you have a decurse scroll.
Yeah.
Your curse status won't get lifted if you're still wearing the cursed thing. That's how curses work. The game tells you none of these facts, including the existence of the curse, or a status effect that lingers after the curse is lifted. So now we all know all the important facts that the game will never tell you.
There's actually a lot of things that they don't tell you about, like throwing holy or malicious scrolls at things, throwing
really throwing anything at things.
But strangely enough, they do say something akin to using eggs as bombs in the instruction manual, from if I recall correctly.
In the instruction manual, but probably not the game. I don't know though. There are those tips at the temple. Maybe one of those? No, probably not. There is, in fact. Maybe one of the dudes tells you, like, Azure Dreams has a whole bunch of unimportant NPCs who will give you tutorial facts or be amazed at your prowess based on where you go. I also miss instruction manuals. I love guides, manuals, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I like a lot of them usually have some kind of nice artwork in them too.
Yeah, that's the fun part. There's artwork, sometimes there's flavor text.
Oh, and a scarlet one, a little too late at this point.
Still, not the worst thing to have lying around for an emergency, but on the other hand, I'm not gonna blame them for not picking it up.
I don't think that they're in the same tower anymore, so I don't think Shuzo will be able to find that. That would be nice for him.
They are, I think, in the same tower.
Are they? That'll be a nice find for Shuzo then.
Because they both found the cure-all herb. And the diamond shield.
Oh, right, and the malicious spell. Yeah, I think they are in the same tower, actually. That'll be a great find for Shuzo.
They managed to sort of even things out between them across their various
and
attacks.
diagonal here. No! Oh, he could have skipped that fight if he walked diagonally to up left. That Maneva would have just casually walked by and been none the wiser. It is some decent experience, though, I suppose, so...
And it's not like it's a real foul. Well, the real question is, well, I guess the real thought is about timing. But either way, in this case, for example, you'd have had to have done some fighting anyway, so might as well.
Oh, we'll go check the manual. It does say about egg bomb. I vaguely
there you
remember
go.
seeing that somewhere. Somebody mentioning it or posting pictures of the manual at some point. I do vaguely remember, and I thought it was odd because of all things to mention in the manual about throwing, it would be eggs, but not things like the scrolls or seeds or things like that.
Now, often I find that Razor is a little bit too overzealous about fireball charges and clowns, but in this circumstances with a water cune, yeah, I think that's the right choice. Or at least a much more even choice.
Yeah, he's dealt with him having the Stream Wand and Cune being, with his spell being level 10, I think you could get away with it. I mean, you take a hit and risk a chance of getting low downed, but you could still pretty easily deal with clowns at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely a winnable fight. But it's no longer as easy a fight. And this is an unfortunate angle for the U-boat to have woken up in, but them's break sometimes. It can be rewarding to throw them into a pit, but where are you going to find pits? You're going to have to make one with oh no, there goes Cune.
Ooh, that's gonna be rough on Shuzo. I mean, he has a decent inventory. He can still make this work, but that was a very unfortunate crit there.
Yeah.
This Diamond Shield's gonna be put in some work for him. He has that medicinal herb, he has a Mahel. He can get out of this situation, but he's gonna be hurting pretty bad here. And there's the elevator. He's still gonna have to take. Ooh, he's gonna have to take a couple hits here. He's gonna have to use that medicinal to get out of this, or the Holy Bell. I'd prefer the medicinal, but even so, he's still gonna be pretty damaged going up the elevator. He's gonna have to take. I think the Holy Bell might be the choice here, just so he's not in such a rough spot going up.
Yeah, I think so. Gotta be careful. Took that hit anyway. I'd use the medicinal and I'd wait for a while.
I really wish he would have used the medicinal before.
Because sometimes you don't get the luxury of being able to escape. Like now. Now you're kind of boned, Shuzo.
Yeah. I mean, he can walk away and the U-boat will eventually go under, which will give him a space that he can use it. But if anything, I mean, it works in this situation. If he had been in a different room with two monsters or something, one that was closer and not sleeping, that would have been a rough spot. If he had used the herb before going up, he would have been in a much stronger position. It worked out here, though.
Use the Holy Bell's protection to its fullest to recover HP, but also, crack traps. They make life so difficult.
I think you burn the dream in here just because you don't have the HP resources to really play around with it. If you get put to sleep, it's game over at this point.
Yeah.
The Mahel paid off though, and he saved the fireball charge, so.
But now.
Now he's not trapped. He's not trapped. He can get out of here, but it's gonna take him several turns to do it.
And now he no longer has the Mahel boost, and that's less than ideal.
Oh, I was gonna say that crack might have been able to. It did get the U-boat off of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh, and now there's another one coming. No, it just can't get a break.
No, that's the thing. Sometimes you just can't, and at those moments,
it can be really mentally draining when things like this happen.
Yeah, when you're just caught in a string of bad situations, and all you really want at this moment is to be able to heal up and catch your breath.
I like that. He used the height advantage there to get a free turn. Now he can deal with the dream, and with all that HP, I probably would have went for the lift there, but he is really low level, and it got him a level up, so that's all right, I guess.
Yeah, it's not a terrible decision. It certainly at least get a little bit further, and sometimes that's all you can hope for in this world.
Ooh.
Oh, lucky! That is the
Yeah.
luckiest warp track. Not a thing you normally say about any warp track, but there we have it.
Yeah, Razor actually took a pretty nasty crit a little bit ago in his last encounter with the volcano. I think it was like a 21 crit or something. He was pretty hurt up, but he's managed to recover fairly well.
Yeah.
On floor 10, he can... I think he's explored most of this floor at this point. With his oh yeah, that troll's still gonna swing at you, buddy. There you go, 39 damage. Looking really good now.
Really solid position.
Oh,
Just has
no.
to make it up. Not ideal, given the just sheer amount of damage these guys can put out.
When another crit, he's getting unlucky with these crits against him.
Yes. Oh, it's a Dreamin' Patrol.
Don't bother with the wand. No, yeah, you. Oh, another Scarlet wand.
That keeps throwing them at people who no longer have a use for.
Check the loop. Yeah, trap loop is really, really nice.
It's alright. It's maybe, I would
Oh
say,
no,
my
going
least-
up to floor 10 as a frog. That's awful.
Oh, that's rough. That's scary. Don't care for that.
Oh, this is bad. Oh yeah, it's really bad now. There's a troll over there. He's gonna
Razor,
take
you
more
didn't have
damage.
to worry about that.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's gonna take a lot of damage here being a frog.
he has got...
He can use this platform to his advantage. Well, not
If he can
anymore.
manage the maneuvering properly, anyway. There we go. Whole new scroll, that's very nice.
He's gotta be careful with his movement. He doesn't have any way to heal himself. And he can't really deal with this volcano with it being right on top of him like this right now. So he's gonna have to be a little careful.
Razor's on floor 12. Not much further to go before that early lead falls away entirely.
That Olim, it might be worth just immediately throwing that right now. Just to give him some breathing room.
Yeah, I think he has to. Pretty much. I don't think anything else will do the trick.
And he finds the Scarlet one, but unfortunately his Cune is no more. It is not really any help to him. I don't know. The Vital Sword will do more damage, yeah, but I think the Paralyzed Wand is kind of better. Just because you can get that lucky paralyzed.
You can't really
and get a
fight
lift.
anything.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for these Dreamin', the sword is better because you can actually kill them. But for anything else, if you're going to fight it, I think you're better off trying to paralyze it and throw it away.
13. If Razorflame makes it off this floor, Razorflame takes the lead.
And
It's still a pretty close match. In close match, no matter how you slice it.
oh yeah, Shuzo has very much the ability to match whatever Razor's doing. Razor will probably have an easier time having the stream and water Cune, but Shuzo's got a decent inventory here as well. He can easily make it past floor 13 if things go his way. Though floor 11 is not looking very kind to him right now.
No.
If he gets a rise shot at him here, okay, that slow is really, really nice. However, that other Griffin waking up, not so nice. I think he's gonna have to go for a lift here.
Probably so.
And that is Razor on floor 14. He takes the lead with 8 minutes left.
Yeah, this is... And it's going to be close. Oh, Shuzo really in a bad spot and not a lot of ways out of it. Just going to have to be super precise. And that might not always be possible.
Is Shuzo's got to be really careful walking around in rooms with this Griffin follow him. They are more than happy to blast you with the
and there's
rise.
like trolls, and if that bow troll wakes up, it could be a bad time.
Oh yeah, it's just gonna make it that much worse. Please be a holy scroll. That would be really nice.
This is the moment for this.
I wish he would have thrown it at that Griffin.
Griffin, that would have been better. That would have been so much better. That fireball isn't going to last forever, and it's not going to do enough to one-shot anything. And now,
I mean, the level helps. Yeah, that level helps a little bit, but I'd rather have the Griffin to soak up damage and be able to run away or lift.
Yeah.
And that fireball's got to be running low on charges by now. He can't really rely on that too much.
I can't imagine it has. I would say 1 charge left, max. But it probably is already out. On the other hand, floor 12 of a couple of lucky decisions could maybe make all the difference in the world here.
Yeah, unfortunately for Shuzo, he's got to get to at least floor 16 at the moment, with Razor hitting floor 15 now, and still looking really strong.
Yeah, Razor could, in theory, keep this up for quite some time. And Shuzo is, in fact, going to have to fight for every inch.
Yeah, and it's just getting, the climb is just getting more and more difficult every second for Shuzo. And that's 17 now for Razor. This is not looking great for Shuzo right now.
Yeah, this might just end up clinching it. Shuzo going to have to decide what to do about this Kraken. Not a lot he can do, frankly.
Oh, yeah, with being pincered between two, I think he's getting... That dodge really helps. That might have been that's exactly what he needed. He can take a hit from this, and he's got to hope that he doesn't get pincered by something else along
Leather
the way.
Shield is, I think, a pretty good call here, honestly.
Okay, that really, really hurts, but as long as this Griffin and that Volcano don't wake up,
then that's okay. One step at a time.
Yeah, just be very
Don't
careful.
panic.
You cannot afford a single misstep. There is the elevator. Oh no, the misstep! He needs a dodge now. He needs a dodge.
Leather Shield, pull through. Ooh,
Okay,
he's going to
try
have
and
to try.
He's gonna try and loop around. Maybe he needs to hope he doesn't get pincered. Razor on floor 18 now.
Yeah, that's not gonna be a thing that Shuzo can make up. I think Razor takes this. I think.
Oh man, this is a close match for sure.
This is a close match. Oh, Curaller, that's bad. Yeah, nope. This is the end.
Oh,
of Shuzo's
and that's
run.
GG for Shuzo on floor 13.
I will let the runners know.
Oh man, what a race! What a race! Let's see if we can get our runners in here for an interview, if they're up for that. Let's see.
I was about to say that the game went to you. That's not the case.
Alright, the invites have been sent out. If there are Any questions chat would like asked to the runners, now would be the time to get them in. Oh, but man, that was I did not expect it to be that close. That was Shuzo had a
That
pretty
was intense.
yeah. Shuzo had
These
the
are-
lead for pretty much the entire and put there like the last 10 or so minutes. That was crazy. Yeah, I knew the ice shield questions were gonna come in. Monster dens, yeah. Just why? Okay. It looks like they have just joined the server. They should be in here any moment now. No, Chai, that is not a question that anybody ever needs to repeat.
Well, they actually are Sand Knight's fault. Well, it's because both Revan and I generated a set of seed, and we used Sand Knight going exciting to the set of seeds we ended up using to determine which seeds we used. So that's why they're Sand Knight's fault. Nice and straightforward today.
Give me one moment. I'll see what's going on with these guys.
Games. Oh man.
Good games.
Floor 13 every time. Floor 13.
Wait a second.
I don't know.
Huh? I'm a little bit confused now all of a sudden.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, there we go. For a moment, I was hearing someone with no one else in the voice chat.
Oh, I didn't hear.
That was weird.
But
Anyway.
welcome, Shuzo, Razor. GG's, guys. That was a very good race. That was very, very close.
Yeah, I don't know what the margin was on the second, but the first and third, like the second and third seeds were kind of trolly.
The second seed was interesting in that Shuzo got to 13 or 14 pretty early on and then just held on to that the rest of the way. We will need to keep this a little bit brief.
Yep.
I think two dominating questions. Number one, what's wrong with the ice shield? What's wrong with the ice shield? What do you have against it?
I think I remember it being more possibility of being cursed. So, and also I think Chai told me not to use those types of shields because you'd have to swap them out anyways.
I knew it was Chai.
Yeah.
I knew it was Chai.
Second question.
I did end up leaving and finding a better shield.
True.
With my ice shield.
I think I did too.
Yeah, you both found that diamond shield, and that came in pretty handy. It was pretty close in the end there, but while we have enough time for probably one more question, Razor, how about that monster den luck, and how did you feel about fighting the entire monster den?
So that would be the second match. I felt like I was behind, and I was just trying to be entertaining, so I figured I'd go ahead and fight the entire monster den.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah,
I think that
was one of only two. That was one of two monster dens. The second one I just noped out.
Shuzo never found either of them. Okay, so that will have to be it. GG to both runners. Everyone is still fully in this tournament. This is a round robin. There will be another match tomorrow. Thank you all very much for joining me, and thank you, Speed Gaming, for your patience.
Thank you, Speed Gaming.
Thank you.
Later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ooh.
The entire monster den.